Mic check, mic check. Dialed in. Just like that. Here we go. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Whether you're watching this live, watching it back, another day of documenting the journey of holding GameStop stock. I mean, what a time to be alive. We have no more updates from DFV. We have the SEC supposedly investigating this guy. We have E-Trade saying they're going to kick him off the platform. All kinds of different things going on, right? And this one, we'll start right with this, right? This cannot be real, right? But don't actually, please don't be this person. If this is actually real, it's pretty alarming. And I admire the confidence, but oh my gosh. Hey Bill, just wanted to let you know that I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice today. D fucking value, aka Roaring Kitty, aka Keith Gill, is going to exercise his call options on or before June 21st, 2024. His options allow him to purchase 12 million shares of GameStop stock at $20 per share. As you know, those shares do not exist and hedges their fuck. Moas is here. I will no longer need employment here as I will be on a rocket ship to the moon and will be returning. Best regards, pun intended. Blurred out, soon to be a rich person. There's no way. There's no way. It's funny, but there's literally no way. And just, temper your expectation. I thought I'd start that one off, start this off with a little, fun little post, start the stream, but it's funny, but it's also like, oh my God, I hope that's not actually real, right? And I'm going to talk about some theories I have with this and a couple different things, but hit the chat real quick. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hi, Tetron, Sharon, hello, hope you're doing well. Yo, Tetron, Patrick, what up, what up? Gonna do a quick nap before the stream. Catch you soon. All good, Ryan. Appreciate you popping in later, man. I hope you have a great sleep. Let's go, Robert. I hope you're doing well. Let's go. Woo. Yanosaba, what up, what up? Hello, Tetron, Whiskey, good to see you. Welcome back. Oh, you know what I gotta do that I tend to always forget to do? Gotta tweet the stream out. Gotta tweet the stream out, right? And I don't know if the thumbnail updated, but oh, and if you guys saw that, you're like, what the heck is that? I was trying to make a meme of the NVIDIA girl. I don't know if you guys saw this. I saw this from Greg, who put this like I heart booms as a caption. Oh my God, there's so many memes about it. It's so funny. I wonder if you guys saw this. Like the NVIDIA CEO, and my favorite's this guy back here. He's like, "Ooh, what the fuck? What are you doing, bruh?" Like that's what his face says. It's just crazy. It's like, and then so many different takes on it, right? Some people are like, "Damn, tech CEOs are the new rock star of this era," right? So there's all these different thoughts on it. AI just made this song about Roaring Kitty. I'll have to listen to that later. Shout out Fat Dad Dirk. He's always got some good posts. He actually had, I don't know if you guys saw, Pershing Square literally responded to him indicating how Bill Ackman basically went on CNBC and was saying how everything's screwed during the pandemic and then the markets went down. They wrote this huge ass response to him. It's actually crazy, but live on YouTube now. Talking GameStop stock. I'm conflicted of whether to use hashtag GME, $ GME, or just not even put that, right? I think the algo favors no hashtags, but I don't know. I'm trying to mix it up and figure it out, but it seems like hashtag GME is a little better, but I don't know. At the same time, I think I'm going to go with nothing because I feel like Twitter is moving away, or X, whatever it's called these days, is moving away. I won't be too excessive from hashtags. Like, I don't think people would look things up by hashtags, and the way the algorithms change and AI being implemented. I don't know all the specifics, right? But it's way smarter now, and things have evolved where it's like hashtags are just kind of spammy. I think like one is okay, maybe, but I'm not too sure. So with that, post it on now so we get some more people in here, but not going to worry about that. So first, I think talking about this piece right here, or well, first we'll look at the chart, right? Tetron Legend, Michael Tucker, hope you're doing well. Look at this 5-day chart. Wild. This is over the weekend when a reverse card tweet, supposedly, making this move, and I'll tell you a little bit more why I don't think that's necessarily the case right now. Look at this 1 month chart, from 1 month ago, it's still significantly higher. And people are like, oh, there's baggies up here and whatever. It's like, okay, that happens with every stock that rallies, right? And there's a lot of people who aren't. That's the common narrative too. Like, oh, there's all these bag holders all the way back from January 2021, just hoping and praying. Trust me, anyone that was just hoping and praying, and really interesting weekly candles developing right here. And we'll see what the next couple weeks look like. But remember, it's gonna be a busy few weeks, brother, as that that one portion of his tweet said. But there's this constant narrative like, oh, there's all people like bag holding from back here and just hoping and praying. And I tell you, like, I really think most people that were in for a quick buck in here exited at some point in this range right here. And then when it was going like this sideways move down, or sideways move down, that's a little conflicting information, but this like just slow, steady grind downwards for a long period of time, I think those people are like, huh, good thing I got out of this. This was just like a temporary play, right? But there's a lot of people, and it doesn't get accounted for in the mainstream media or just by anyone that's not truly paying attention, that have just been steadily accumulating shares. And if you already look at it, right, it's only Wednesday. Look at the volume. We already have more volume than either of the previous 2 weeks. Obviously, 4 weeks ago, right, we're on week four. If you're looking at the past 4 weeks, we're on week four right now. Week one had the most volume we've seen in a single week since literally February of 2021. And then all of a sudden now we're only at Wednesday, right? And we have, if this is accurate, 290 million volume already. Is that actually accurate? And side note, I was going to talk about this. What the heck is this? This always does this. It's pretty strange. I know in a Richard Newton video, he briefly mentioned how it's like certain trades executing later and things like that. But how does NVIDIA like glitches? I don't know. I don't know. I look at NVIDIA still running in the after hours. This shit just never goes down. It's the endless bull run. It's actually crazy. But pulling up GME, historical data. Damn, yeah, 165 million volume on Monday, and then pretty strong volume these 2 consecutive days in a row. And also, just like I titled the stream, there's no news today, there's no tweets, there's no YOLO updates, and then now the mainstream media is just like, oh, look, they're all just rallying the stock again, right? Oh yeah, they're just all getting in at the same time, and it's truly comical because where is it? So much to talk about. I'm Kramer saying. I've never seen anything like this. A group of buyers with no sensitivity to price, Kramer said. These people don't have unlimited firepower, but they've got enough firepower to engineer a short squeeze anytime a bunch of professionals decide to bet against this thing. It's clearly majority institutions with the volume right now. That's my personal opinion. Of course, you're more than welcome to disagree. That's totally fine. It is what it is. But all this volume, like, look what happened back here. Do you think all these people are just suddenly, like, all these individual people are just suddenly all flooding in buying right now? I know I'm not. I was buying all back here. Why would I need to rush in to buy right now? Yes, I think there's still some people like who just dollar cost average. You'll just keep buying no matter what until it gets to like a certain price point, or they'll just keep buying, right? Everyone's got their own situation. But having said that, there's definitely not people like just putting huge amounts in like they were in this time period right here. So how is the volume getting back to levels we haven't seen since January 2021? And you also look at saving rates, the general economy as a whole, inflation, all these different things going on. Do you really think this is just people orchestrating it? Like, honestly, if you really think it is, let me know in the chat and we can definitely discuss about it. But I just think it's nonsense. I don't think that's what's going on. I think it's definitely institutions. It partly has to do with the option chain, and then partly maybe swaps, partly things we don't quite necessarily are able to identify at this particular moment in time, but it just seems so unlikely to me that it's just individuals all flooding into the stock at once. And I really wanted to stream yesterday because there's still, a hot topic talking about E-Trade, potentially getting rid of this guy. This guy, use his name, right? D fucking value, aka Roaring Kitty, aka Keith Gill. Gotta put some respect on his name. My bad there. But point being, E-Trade's saying they're going to get rid of him. SEC's investigating him. Top Massachusetts investigator or whatever. All because all he did was post his position. He's incredibly transparent. Like, if this actually goes through and he actually gets in trouble in some shape or form from this, then what can be claimed as market manipulation? Literally anybody talking about anything or ever posting their position, you could argue that it's market manipulation. So to me, it's crazy. I mean, I think a lot of people think that, and even people outside. I was saying this the other day to a friend. I think maybe I was tweeting it. Maybe I said it on Monday. I don't know. The days are just jumbling together at this point, right? And I had to take this stupid exam today, so I had to study my ass off for that yesterday. It's this thing for my job, certified IRA thing. Hopefully, I passed. But what I'm trying to say is, definitely people are looking at this on the outside that are like, "This is crazy." Like, even if I'm not in GameStop, I think these GameStop people are crazy, whatever the case. Oh, I think I was saying on my earlier stream today. I did an X stream. Follow me there if you guys don't already at Tetron Invest. Just on my lunch break, I was like, fuck it. talk some GameStop. It's an exciting day. And it's like, do you really think all these people are just flooding into it? And why am I losing my train of thought? But yeah, crazy times to be alive. But market analysts coming on CNBC should be held responsible for market manipulation then. Hadouken, thank you for being here. And thank you. Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Got me back on track here, where it's like, what can be defined as market manipulation if he truly gets tried and fined or whatever happens, right? Something insane happens. Then what you can define as market manipulation is so widespread that you could claim thousands and probably even millions of people right now are, quote, manipulating the market. And how is that a free and fair market? And then I forgot, I just watched a bunch of different YouTube videos last night while I was supposed to be studying. I just kept watching like miscellaneous people talk about YouTube because I like to get different perspectives. It was some guy who just posted about, I think it was that guy Zip Trader. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him, post about like different stuff. So I was like, well, let me hear what this guy has to say. And he was like, no, Roaring Kitty can't do this. He should not. Clearly, he forgot that first you have to become a politician, then it's okay to do it. Right? Or you're making a joke like that. It's true, right? It's true. A politician posts their trades way after, and then they have access to inside information. Sometimes in certain cases too, they're making certain decisions on certain boards or policies or how the government's going to spend money, and then they can go ahead and invest in those same companies. And we see it time and time again. And it's not the left does it, the right does it. They both do it equally, and it just shows it's rules for thee, not for me. And it's ludicrous. It really is crazy, and it's the world we're living in. And another point I want to make, all this man does is like posted Uno reverse card, right? Posted YOLO update, and then we have, where's this Uno reverse card? YOLO update and Uno reverse card. If this is evidence for market manipulation, again, it's so widespread on what you can determine to be market manipulation. And then also what I think is part of it is that the punishment is the process. And you might be like, well, what does that mean? How is the process punishment? That doesn't make sense. Allow me to explain. They can put his name out there now. Oh, Roaring Kitty's being investigated by the SEC. E-Trade's going to get rid of him. And just put out all these stories. And if they drag out this lawsuit until it's determined that it's a load of baloney, as I personally believe that will be the final determination, but they could drag it out for years, months, whatever the case, kind of putting a gag order on him, because if he says or does anything more, there's this huge spotlight. That's number one. And number two, just drag his name through the mud, and then mainstream media can keep saying, oh, well, allegedly he's been manipulating markets. Allegedly, right? Or they might not even say allegedly, or it seems as if he's manipulating markets, right? Like they can spin that narrative. And while it is technically allegedly, and most likely a load of crap if you have a brain and actually look at what's happening, they can still use it and just put it all over headlines, talk about it everywhere. That could be people's bullshit arguments, right? Like, it's just crazy. It's like the punishment is the process. They could drag your name through the mud. And then even if it comes out at the end, oh, okay, well, he did nothing wrong. After people will bash him for months in the mainstream media and just news articles, and people look from afar and say, oh, damn, supposedly he's manipulating markets. That's crazy. I thought he was a good guy. I guess he's not, right? Because that's how people think when you're not truly following something. And I tweeted the other day, I was like, suddenly everyone becomes an expert once GameStop starts trending again. And so this is my quick live stream during the day. I just sat by a tree because I don't know if I told you guys I sprained my ankle. I think I did tell you guys, but I don't know if you were here when I said it. But so I've been trying to take it easy. But it's hard for me. I'm always moving around. But I tweeted this the other day, and then this is the E-Trade boardroom leaked photo when they're making that decision. But right here, funny how suddenly everyone becomes an expert on GameStop every time it starts trending. And I want to be clear, I was not trying to imply in any way, because a couple people like, ooh, this sounds very like, where's my cookie? I've been talking about this. And someone else like, I don't know if it's here somewhere. Someone's like, oh, I don't know. This is so ridiculous that you think you deserve or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to say that I'm an expert. In no way am I trying to become a self-proclaimed expert in any shape or form. I'm not an expert. I don't give financial advice. That's not the business I'm in. I'm here to document my journey of as being a GameStop investor and call it like I see it, because there's not a lot of people covering it, and definitely the mainstream media isn't covering the accurate story as to what happened. So I was like, all right, or is happening live, and as these times evolve. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk on it. So it's just funny to me that all these big accounts in the mainstream media are trying to explain what's happening, but they haven't really been paying attention until it starts trending again. So that's like everything in the world, though, right? Because suddenly when it starts trending again, everyone like is just reading headlines or is has an opinion to share, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm a GameStop expert, I'm a stock market mechanics expert, and then when the wars started, right? Oh, I'm a Gaza whatever Israel war expert. Before that, oh, I'm a Ukraine Russia war expert. What other conflicts? Oh, I'm a Chinese spy balloon expert, right? Like everyone suddenly has an opinion, and then people just read things from afar or don't read opinions of people who have been truly following it, and that's fine. Like I'm not saying everyone isn't allowed to have an opinion, but I'm just saying like it's just overall the punishment is the process, and it's smearing Roaring Kitty's name, and that's my personal opinion at least. Nancy Pelosi, Tommy Tuberville. Exactly. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Tommy Tuberville is Republican and Pelosi's Democrat. So those are two great examples on each side of the aisle. I think you mean that it's broad in definition scope, not widespread. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that clarification. You're absolutely right. But yes, point taken. Speedy recovery for you. Thank you, Duke, and thank you. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's just a little uncomfortable, but not too bad at all. So I really can't complain. I didn't realize this, but when you sprain your ankle, that actually means you tore like a ligament in there. Not major, but doctor says like 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm about a week and a half in at this point, and it's pretty feeling pretty good. But I'm just trying to rest as much as I can. So I didn't know that means you sprain a ligament, right? But moving on here. So what does the Uno card reverse card mean? Why, right? And I don't like to look too much into like his tweets and specifics, but I do think there's like little messages in there. But it's also like open for interpretation. And that would be crazy if it turns out to be, oh, he's manipulating markets because he was saying, fine, I'll do it myself with the Thanos meme from a movie, The Avengers. Like, what a joke that would be, right? But having said that, I thought about this a little. Okay, I think this one actually has a pretty clear meaning. Because if allegedly, right, E-Trade is talking about removing him from the platform, you would think they would give him some kind of prior indication, some kind of prior warning, anything like that. And even without that, like he sees the headline and it's like, okay, well, maybe my broker's literally going to get rid of me. And then I think he's saying, like, okay, final GME YOLO update. Because if you look at deep value, he put final update. And then he just did it twice in Superstonk earlier this week, like Friday night, and then, sorry, not Friday night, Sunday night, and Monday night. Out of nowhere. But this one said final update. So you thought he was done on Reddit, right? I did at least. So I think, and then he tweeted this out Sunday night. I personally think that he was like, okay, well, if you want to distribute my account, I'm going to show everyone my position prior to or liquidate my account, however, whatever nonsense they're potentially thinking of doing. I'm going to go ahead and show everyone my position. And now, if you liquidate the account, you're manipulating the markets. Because that's the irony in all this. If E-Trade does, in fact, liquidate these positions because they don't want to be his broker anymore, this will dramatically move markets. There's no doubt about that. 5 million shares, 120,000 call contracts. Maybe they shouldn't have sold all those call contracts if they didn't have the shares available, because they're going to be on the hook for 12 million shares. If this guy actually owns 17 million shares, that will be insane. Like, let's see what the top holders are on the inside. Like, he would have more than any institution already, right? Like, right now, he's the fourth largest. If he was Roaring Kitty Capital, for example, he would be right here at 5 million shares, not even including his call contracts. And then if he winds up with 17 million, he has more than State Street, which is crazy to think about. And then insider holdings, Alan Addo is 562,000, so he has way more than him. Near Patel is like 1 million. I'm not sure how up to date this is, given that he's gone now. And then, where's Ryan Cohen? Where's RC? Okay, I don't know his exact number off the top of my head, but he's roughly like 10%. So if he's roughly like 10%, then that's roughly 35 million. So not quite as big as Ryan Cohen, but it's just crazy if he actually exercises. The thing is, he's going to need a lot of cash, because if you do the math on it, right? Let's say he exercises one call. Simple numbers to start out. So one call option is equivalent to 100 shares times $20 a piece. So he would need $2,000 to in cash to exercise one call option. Now, if he does that 120,000 times, he would need $240 million. But I don't know. I go back and forth. I'm like, what is he going to do? How can he come up with that kind of money? Look how much he already has invested. He only has 29.2 million in cash in the account. Part of me thinks maybe he's going to sell some of those call options and then use that premium to exercise the remaining options. Another part of me thinks, and Richard Newton talked about this a little bit, and again, I would try and watch as much as I can to get different people's perspectives. Maybe he's been trading this whole time and he has a lot of cash elsewhere, and maybe he's been trading other stocks. Maybe he's been selling covered calls in GameStop this whole time. There's no clear indication as to what he did over these past few years between this post, April 16th, 2021, and June 2nd, 2024. There's over 3 years of time in between. And at that time, he had 200,000 shares. Now he has 5 million. That's a huge increase, right? That's literally, if going from 200,000 to 1 million is a 5x. So if he's going to 5 million, he 25x his position, right? Because if it's 25 times 200,000, he 25x'd his position since then. So what was going on that whole time? Was he selling cash secured puts and then ultimately accumulating shares at the same time, selling covered calls on the shares he currently had? I don't know, right? And I'm just throwing all these different ideas out there. But at the same time, looking back, right, and watching a little bit of Richard Newton's video, and I was watching, trying to do some other stuff at the same time. There was points when you go like way back in his posts, and I love this one, where you go way back in his posts, and there were points he sold some calls and then bought them back lower, sold some calls, bought them back lower, right? A lot of different situations like that. Like he was trading it. And it seems like more than any other individual out there, maybe even institution, he understands the trends with this stock better than anyone else. And I truly believe that we saw this sudden price action not because of him. Like this was going to happen anyway. Maybe it was even greater because he tweeted, sure, because then people started trading it and it started trending again. Sure, I'm not going to say it's not an entire factor, but do you really think I think this was more retail right here, people rushing in. But do you really think this right here was retail and the pre-market trading, these huge dramatic moves? I don't. I simply do not think that was the case. And having said all that, I think there was something coming up, whether it be swaps expiring, an OPEX period. I think we had quad witching not too long ago, maybe something with that. Like I think he has the patterns down with how the stock trades better than anyone else. And again, that's just speculation. I can't say for sure, but with that, I think he's possibly been able to trade it very successfully over these past several years. And then beyond that, who's to say he wasn't trading Nvidia this whole time, right? Like maybe he was buying calls on Nvidia and he was making an absolute ton, right? Look at the 1-year chart for Nvidia. Look at this. This is craziness. And by the way, where did Nancy Pelosi buy? Somewhere right around here, right? Somewhere right around here. And sure enough, absolute rocket ship. Since 2024 started, the performance is crazy. It's gone from $478 to now $1,236 in the pre-market. And by the way, we're talking about a $3 trillion market cap right here, which is just absolutely ludicrous. But moving on from that, just some further speculation here about the Uno reverse card and him having to show his position because E-Trade's threatening to liquidate or resign. See, that's the thing too. Are they going to give him some kind of notice to move to another custodian? Because I would imagine, and I tweeted out, the Apex CEO who clears for like Webull, and Apex also clears for Public Trading, Public.com, whatever it's called, and it's various other platforms, that there's going to be another custodian that will be willing to take him on as a client after, the bullshit like investigation. So is E-Trade giving them time, or would they or maybe like they were straight up threatening to liquidate? Because you think they would give them time, but if they truly are playing dirty and truly don't care about their clients, right? Because he is still a client at the end of the day. Like, yes, he's widely known, but he's still a client. And I think also, isn't there supposed to be like privacy disclosures that they won't just go out client information like this? But you know how it goes, guys. But this is a really great post here by user slash whelp007. He's also on Reddit. We've been looking at the Morgan Stanley E-Trade versus Roaring Kitty situation incorrectly. DFE could have been getting threatening emails from E-Trader for the past few weeks as he kept buying more and more call option contracts. It makes sense now why DFE needed to post his positions on Sunday. It's to create evidence that he has those positions in case Morgan, protect your neck for real, Stanley, decided to just close his account suddenly. Now they can't close him and they're fucked. Morgan Stanley also most likely doesn't have all of the 12 million shares needed to cover all 120,000 contracts if he exercises them. Oof, if that were the case, it makes sense now why he needed to post his positions. It's to create evidence that he has those positions in case they just closed his account suddenly and not honoring them. Now they can't, and that's also why I think he put the Uno reverse card. Like, all right, you're trying to get rid of me. I'm going to go ahead and show everyone my position. So if you want to get rid of me, you're going to manipulate the markets. You're going to be the one that's doing fraudulent things. That's my viewpoint on this. Let me know what you guys think. And I think this post I saw last night, I was like, oh, like that was literally my reaction late at night. See, I'm supposed to be studying. It's 11:24, and what am I doing? I'm on Twitter. Classic, right? And it's also, I don't know if anyone saw last night, I tweeted out like, fun fact, was it 69.420% of GameStop shareholders never sleep? You know, shout out Roaring Pika. This guy literally never sleeps. He's like, I'm gonna nap or I'm going to sleep, and he tweets memes for like 8 more hours after that. I'm like, does this dude ever sleep? I don't think so, but crazy. You know, let me make sure I got all chat here so I get everything coming in. The good, the bad, the ugly. What are your thoughts on fundamentals of the company, especially with earnings coming up in less than a week now? Aaron Kitty probably has gone silent because of being actively investigated by Morgan Stanley Securities or Massachusetts Securities. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Hadouken. And 23 tomorrow. Liquid Swords, thanks for being here. I don't know about that. I think it's going to be a choppy day, but I don't know if we'd make that dramatic of a move down. But I'm inclined to believe that we're going to continue to go up. But of course, I absolutely could be wrong, right? Because nobody knows. Nobody truly knows. But it looks like we're in a general uptrend right here. But, you know, maybe we have some kind of drop off tomorrow. We had a very strong close to the day. I thought it was going to drop back down. Close the day more in like the lower, not lower 20s, but like in the mid 20s, maybe the mid upper 20s. I'm surprised that we close over 30, to be honest with you. So that's my prediction. But of course, I don't know. I don't give financial advice. Make your own determination if you're trading. But it could be hilarious if stock keeps climbing and starts buying calls for 42 and 69 strikes. Yeah, Duke, and that's the thing too. The options chain is loaded right now. So with the options chain loaded, it just creates a gamma ramp. And I have a later post I'm going to get to. I got to keep moving along here because I got a lot of different things I want to talk about. But there's a later post that basically talks about the idea or potential that market makers never covered, or not covered, but started hedging these shares. And that would be very problematic if that was the case. Bought 2 more shares today. Feeling solid. Ben, what up, what up? Hope you're doing well. Groove, just joining. On Tetra and DFE's building wall at 20 to defend the stock, force dealers to hedge their exposure. And the more hedge, the more prices rise, the more rises, the more they need to hedge. Very good point, Groove. Thank you for being here. Squeeze is coming, and when it does, we aren't looking back. Groove, you very much could be right. Split adjusted 800K shares, not 200K. Thank you, Mr. Gypsy Fish. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a very excellent point right there. I actually, that's a very important distinction to make because you're right. Going from 800,000 to 5 million, that's still a very large increase, but it's not as large as 200,000. So thank you for that. Mr. Gill's a genius. Why too? I would agree. And Hadouken, to answer your question, I realized I accidentally skipped over it. In terms of fundamentals, you know, and the earnings coming out, we know, like we got the preliminary earnings, right? And I wish I could make the text a little bit bigger. There's no option for that on this, but we know from the preliminary earnings, the revenue is going to disappoint. It's going to be between 872 million and 892 million compared to 1.2 billion of the year prior. But SG&A is going to come down and be roughly 295 million compared to 345 million the same quarter of last year. And I'm going to update these charts soon once we get the official numbers, so stay tuned for that. I'll be posting them on X. Net loss expected to be in the range of 27 million to 37 million, so roughly you could say negative 32 million versus negative 50.5 million. These are the silver lining to me of the report because SG&A decreased year over year, and then also net loss is not as bad as the prior year. The most negative aspect, I would say, is top line revenue. Ultimately, they do have to get to a place where they can begin to rise. Oh my God, why am I mixing up all my words? Begin my grammar. My grammar's terrible sometimes, guys. Look at that, even right there. I apologize, but eventually they have to get back to a point where revenue is growing and net income is subsequently growing with it. And whether that be through private label brands and acquisition, the investment policy of various amount of things. Like if it's the investment policy, depending, right? If they buy like Bitcoin or another stock, it might not be a situation where revenue is rising, but the assets on the balance sheet, right? Because there's three main aspects to a company. There's their balance sheet, their income statement, and their cash flow statement. So you got to look at things as a whole. And cash equivalents was going to be just a little below 1.1 billion compared to 1.3 billion of the prior year, but that was before they completed their share offering, right? Just over a 1 week span, they issued 45 million shares at an average price of 20.74 and was able to raise roughly 933 million. They're going to have to give a very small percentage, up to 1.5% to Jefferies for helping them raise the capital, but at most that's going to be like 13, 15 million. So they really raised like 920 million and got themselves to a position where they have approximately $2 billion of cash equivalents, marketable securities, and $5.70 of cash per share. So there's still execution to be done in terms of like the complete turnaround of the company, but they're in great financial shape, right? Like they're in good financial standing because they were able to squeak out a net profit last year. And people always focus on the top line revenue was down year over year. Yes, I'm not saying that that's a good thing, right? It's not ideal, but you have to understand they're trimming the excess and they were able to swing the bottom line from being negative 313 million to 6.7 million. That's a $320 million swing on the bottom line. And also net margin was overall improving. And then SG&A going down in terms of as a percentage of revenue, because you have to keep in mind, if revenue's falling and SG&A is falling also, how you really want to measure it, like yes, you want to see SG&A go down year over year, but how you want to measure it is percentage of revenue. Although I will say, because I want to always present the facts, that revenue did decline 28.7%, and with SG&A being roughly 295 million, it will be about 33% of revenue, which is going to be looking more like a 2022 number compared to the 2023 numbers. You see, it was in the first 3 quarters of the year, 2022, it was in the low 30s. And then in 2023, for those 3 quarters, it was in the high 20s in terms of percentage of revenue. So I really want to see Q2 and Q3 get back on track in terms of being a percentage of revenue in the lower, or sorry, not lower, the higher 20s of percent. So still more work to be done, still more execution, but that's where I fall back to my belief in the management team because I believe they're ultimately going to take the company to a place where they succeed greatly. And how exactly that looks is still to be determined, but I love the story. I believe in the management team. They're in good financial standing, and even if they have to take some time to figure it out, that's all right because as long as they're not losing money on the bottom line, if they just make a small amount of net income again, I think they're going to raise net income year over year, to be honest with you. I think by the end of 2024, net income could be about 50 to 75 million, somewhere in that range. I mean, obviously, we only have 1/4 of information so far. We don't even have all the information. The 10K will have a lot more information, or 10Q rather, because it's a quarterly report. So I'm definitely curious what that's going to be looking like. And that'll have like all the information, but at least, we know as of right now what Q1 is. So, I mean, the preliminary results, like the basic results. And then SG&A, I want to see that continue to improve and the margins continue to improve. But again, they're in good financial standing. So even if it takes them another year or two to figure out how to get back to revenue growth and net income growth, or to really enact on the investment policy in a way that significantly like raises their total assets on the balance sheet, then they have time to do it right now. So that's where it's important for them to be in good financial standing. Squeeze is coming, and when it does, we're looking back. Split adjusted 800K, yes sir. Mr. Skills Genius, 34.36 tomorrow. Whiskey, that seems like a fair prediction. That definitely seems like fair compared to what we've seen these past few days. So that would be right in here. I mean, we opened at like 40, dropped straight down on Monday. But then also, if you look at pre-market, I think 5 minute has pre-market. Yeah, we were as high as 47 in the pre-market trading, and I know I saw in fake trading hours as Fitzy, Rabbit741, those guys on X started calling it, and I've kind of adopted it, where Robinhood has the extended hours trading, call it fake trading hours. It was up 20%, like in the middle of the night, and then they just cut off extended hours trading. It's like, oh, sorry, fake trading's offline right now, and it's like, huh? And then the next day, and then straight down at the open, sideways, 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 and starting to rally again. So, and looks like it's closing up pretty strong in the after hours here. Let's see, this is the final number here. Up about another 2% after hours, nothing too crazy, but where I think that's a positive is the day's range. The high was 31.84. After hours, it touched 32.19 at the end. And then initially in the after hours, it touched almost 33. It touched 32.93, maybe 32. Yeah, 32.93 it looks like. So that's pretty promising. But again, I always have a plan. I can't say this enough, and I won't say enough. I have to keep saying because it's important. You always have to know thyself, have a plan for yourself, know where you're at as an individual. It's so important to know thyself. If they can undo Keith Gill's play, they can undo ours. Exactly, Coffee. Exactly. That's absolutely a great point. Where it's like, if that can happen to him, that can happen to anyone. And is that the precedent that Morgan Stanley and E-Trade want to set? And if you're confused, by the way, E-Trade is now owned by Morgan Stanley. If they want to, I just remembered, I know someone whose uncle works at E-Trade, and I almost want to ask him about it, but at the same time, like I don't. E-Trade is huge. Morgan Stanley's huge, so I don't know if he'd have necessarily any information on that specific part of it, right? But is that the kind of precedent you want to set to your clients that if you post your position online and share why you like a company, that oh, we're just gonna not be your broker anymore? Like that's just crazy to me. Thoughts on investing of cash on hand? Hadouken, I've thought about it quite a bit, to be honest with you. Part of me likes the idea of Bitcoin, but at the same time, I don't because, to clarify, like I believe in Bitcoin for the long term, and I do own a pretty good amount, not as much as GameStop, but I think there's a lot of people who own GameStop that wouldn't be totally fond of the idea of them having Bitcoin on the balance sheet. I think if it's a situation they put maybe 10%, 5% of the cash reserves in Bitcoin, okay, I think even if you're not a Bitcoin bull, you could live with that because it's such a small part of what they're doing. But I'd really like to see them acquire some kind of small tech company, probably not publicly traded, that widely known, and something with a lot of private label brands that they could integrate into their business and easily distribute from their Texas warehouse. That's really what I'd like to see them do, and that would be have to be something that is pretty net profitable. There'd have to be some pretty good margins on whatever product they acquire, or not product, but company that generally sells higher margin products because they want to raise net income along with revenue. So you don't necessarily want to acquire another company, right, that is going to make revenue go back up, but net income is going to kind of stay stagnant because you're only breaking even on it, right? And I do really like that they're getting into PSA cards, and I heard Morant say this, and I thought it was a pretty good point, where those hold up their value pretty well. So even if they're buying them and they're on the balance sheet currently, we'll see how that's potentially displayed in this quarter. Actually, we probably won't because they just started selling PSA cards in Q2 of this year. Because you have to remember, we are currently in Q2. It's not too long ago they got those online, and it was post Q1. Because remember, Q1 for GameStop is February, March, and April. And if you weren't aware, every company can set their own physical calendar. So for GameStop, they're in now Q2 of 2024, and their Q2 is May, June, July. So we'll see how that is reflected in the assets on the balance sheet, or like what information is within the 10Q that comes out for the second quarter. And obviously that's a while away because we literally have Q1 earnings coming up. So that's a long way before we see about Q2. But I'm definitely curious to see how, like, what information they put on there about cards, because I just picked up another one. We got CJ Stroud, only PSA 9, unfortunately. They didn't have PSA 10, and PSA 10 would go for a lot more. And those of you that know, I've been saying it lately, I've been trying to be extremely frugal, balling on a budget, so I don't want to spend too much, but of course I want to support my favorite company, and I do think the CJ Stroud card will be worth more in the future. I think he's also an awesome player, so I just wanted to have it. And then I just got Justin Jefferson previously as well. Again, PSA 9, another beast on the field. I love football, so I figured to pick these guys up. I'm a Steelers fan though, so I'm really looking for them to put out like a TJ Watt card or something like that. Um, Not a Mr. Unlimited. I'm not really looking for him. Russell Wilson, but maybe I don't know. I'll consider it. But I'm really looking for one of those, and then I'll kind of chill for a while. But I definitely think it's a good idea because what I was trying to say is they're holding their value in the sense generally, right, if people aren't going to buy these right away, like card prices fluctuate. If CJ Stroud has an amazing year, the Texans win the Super Bowl, this will be worth significantly more. If Justin Jefferson has an amazing year, the bar's set pretty high for him right now. So I think it's more like if the Vikings win the Super Bowl, then it goes higher. Or in the future, he retires, that might put it higher, right? And there's certain situations, but the point being, even if GameStop has to hold the assets, it's inventory with value down the line. And obviously, that varies card to card, but generally speaking, I think they hold their value pretty well. And it's a unique collectible and just alternative asset as a whole. And are there any puts that can be seen following an expected run up, like ICANN did in 2021 after it peaked and went down? Not that I'm aware of, Coffee, but I'm certainly not an expert on the options chain, that's for sure. Because I can. What up, what up? Thanks for being here. Who else is getting a mod retro from GameStop this holiday season? Hadouken, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, I saw that. That looks pretty cool. I might just have to. And that's cool. I really want to see them do more private label brands, more GameStop exclusives, and I understand that's not totally going to move the needle. So they either have to make an acquisition and then integrate it within the business, and then it has to be something that's going to raise revenue and subsequently raise net income. Or the other side of it is they enact on the investment policy. And by the way, if you guys weren't aware, Tuesday, July 1st, June 11th is when the report will be coming out with all the specific details. But where's the investment policy? Is it back here? I don't know. I can't find it right now. Every time I try and find this, I can't find it. Maybe it's an SEC filing. Let's see. SEC filing. I think actually maybe it was April. I don't know. Like I said, the time gets mixed up for me. The days, the weeks, the months, sometimes they really get mixed up for me. But I don't know. This was Mr. Patel's departure. And, again, people would used to point to the fact, oh, they're getting rid of all these executives. While it's not the most ideal, I would rather them have a tight knit team and then just less overhead expenses right now while they are at a point where they are shrinking down and trying to operate as nimbly and as efficient as possible. But pretty much either, and I think ideally a combination of all these things, enacting on the investment policy and what that is going to be Bitcoin, gold, stocks. I don't truly know. And that's where you have to believe in the management team to make those decisions. But beyond that, I want to see them do private label brands, maybe make a small acquisition, maybe a $50 million tech company that has like a really unique couple products with generally high margins. That would certainly help them out. Just do a lot of small things like that, right? And generally speaking, in a market crash, and Buffett's a great example of this, and I have some points to make on him later, and more about the Berkshire Hathaway uh, glitch, freeze, whatever you want to call it, situation. Historically, that's what he's done when there's been market crashes or massive declines in asset valuations. He's been there to swoop up or either fully acquire or take massive positions in certain stocks to grab a hold of them while they're undervalued. And that's what part of me thinks GameStop's doing. A lot of people say, oh, they haven't done anything this whole time. I think they're waiting for the right opportunity. And it's like baseball, but except there's no called strikes. You can watch as many pitches come by as you want until you see the perfect pitch. Speaking of pitches and baseball, PSA 10, Aaron Judge card. This one was not from GameStop. I actually got this $36 back in 2020. And I had a lot more trading cards at that time. I was basically buying and selling them. And I had a PSA 10, Luka Doncic. And if you look at that up now, you're probably like, holy crap. I bought it for like 300 and sold it for like 7, and I thought I was a genius. Now it's worth, I think, close to like 2 grand or something. And maybe like 1.5, but if the Mavericks win the finals, aren't they in there right now? I don't follow basketball that much. I'm pretty sure they're in the finals against the Celtics. I know that. Yeah, now that I'm saying that is correct. So if they win, that card's probably going to be worth a ton more. So I've messed with trading cards in the past a little bit, and GameStop getting involved with them again kind of sparked my interest a little. And I also have this Cardsmiths pack that I got, and I want to open this, but I think I'll save that towards the end of the stream. And it's been staring at me on my desk all week, right? Because it got here, I think it was like Saturday, or it got while I was away during the weekend. It got here, so since then, like on Monday, I was gonna do it, finish the stream, and I forgot. I was like, all right. And then all day yesterday, I'm like staring at it. I was working from home. I'm like, Did I just open it? I was like, no, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna do it on stream or video or something. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe later on. But yeah, funny how everyone's an expert on GameStop right now. We're at that point in time. But that's my theory on, the whole Roaring Kitty situation and E-Trade. And we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? I'm not here to tell you what's going to happen. I'm just here to document it, share my opinion on it, discuss it with you guys in the chat, and we'll just have to see what unfolds. I mean, today we had pretty significant volume, 69 million. And again, looking at the weekly, this is not the weekly. Go to the 5-year. That's where you get the weekly. You can see this is by far the most volume we've had since early 2021. So all of a sudden, all this volume's back, and I just have such a hard time believing, oh, it's these traders all just getting in, right? These people don't have unlimited firepower, but they have enough firepower to engineer a short squeeze. I just don't think that's what's going on here. I think there's so much greater at play here. Like there's institutions, there's swaps, there's potentially some small shorts covering, swaps blowing up, option chain, the gamma ramp. Like there's all these different aspects to it, right? So that's just how it goes, though. We don't ever know until later on. That's just the nature of the market. But maybe he'll update was to prove he has a play in case they delete it. Exactly, Coffee. Exactly. Morgan Stanley needs their license pulled because of what they did with Bill Long. Read the recent trial documents. Whiskey, I haven't meaning to do that, so I'm glad you point that out. Because, yeah, it seems like there's some suspicious stuff going on there with Morgan Stanley and them. Who else is getting Rod Metro? Yes, sir. What if, hear me out, every major trader needs to report every trade? Scott, that would be crazy. That would actually be crazy. Imagine every single trader, right? Call me a major trader. I'm going to report every single trade, right? If I post a position of me buying GameStop, I'm a manipulator, right? Oh my God, right? They would move to Citadel's Market, which is another dark pool. DFE understands bulk swaps and how to play their game. Ooh, open it. Platinum, what up, what up? All right, you know what? I'm just going to do it right now. I'm doing it right now. You said a platinum? I'm doing it. Oh, let's not damage here. I got a good feeling. Got a good feeling. And it's going to annoy me because I know myself, I'm going to forget. I'm going to end the stream. And then when I end the stream, I'm going to be like, I never opened them down, did I? But 69 volume. Oh, yeah, that's right. Eating Tetron. You're in school of finance, right, or accounting? Hope it's going well. Eddie, thank you for being here. I went to school for finance. I finished a couple years ago. And yeah, I'm out of school right now. I haven't gone back. I did just take an exam, though, for my job in relation to IRAs. I don't know why I just want to open. Because that's pretty much what I work in. So I was getting like a certification on that, or hopefully, if I pass, I got this little resume builder. Wow, this doesn't want to open. Okay, there we go. This scissors suck. I need to get new ones, but here we go. We're opening them, guys. Oh wait, let's make this bigger. Me. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Here we are. By the way, stuff in the back, that's not me. That's my brother working on some stuff. So, in case you're wondering, like, what's going on back there? But, all right. Here we go, guys. We're opening. All right. Cardsmiths. Trading cards. So weird. I never fully have, like, the full webcam on. And in case you're wondering, like, yo, this guy wears glasses all of a sudden? No, I usually wear contacts, but my eyes have been really dry lately, and this one was bothering me. I was like, oh no, I hope I don't have an eye infection or something like that. I think it's good, but just in case, I'm gonna wear contacts a couple more days. Sorry, I'm taking forever to open this. I'm terrible at multitasking. Anyone that knows me knows that. Yay, good luck. Hope you get some good ones. Thank you, Platinum. Thank you. Got a good feeling here. I feel like I'm gonna get Doge for some reason. Calling it now, I feel like I'm gonna get Doge. Here we go. The first one. Again, I want to be very careful here. All right, I'm just going to leave the scissors out. I'm just so worried I'm going to like cut the cards because I'm not the most careful of people. So that's why I'm trying to do this nice and slow here. But okay. The first one. All right, we got this dude. Bailout. Currency card. Or currency cred. Financial bailouts occur when a bank or country provides funding to another bank, corporation, or country is in danger of becoming insolvent or filing for bankruptcy. All right, pretty dope. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, got Shiba Inu. This dude chilling. What is that like? Some kind of, I don't know what it is. Kind of block, green screen type of thing. And here we got, what is this? Like a Bitcoin? Yap stones. Ray or Fay stones were large limestones disc carved by the inhabitants of Yap Island in the Pacific Ocean. Due to the difficulty of carving and transporting such large objects, the Yap stone served as a store of wealth and transferable form of money. Many economists, oh God, guys, why can't I read? Have made comparisons between Yap stones and the gold standard, in addition to sharing many characteristics with Bitcoin. Interesting. I'm gonna look that up later. I'm curious. Let's see. This one looks sparkly. Whoa. What do we got here? Codex of Leicester. Interesting. Then what is this? Proof of stake. Ah, I like it. That's a pretty dope one. All right, on to pack 2. Getting back to GameStop stuff soon, I promise. Just got to do a quick opening, because if Platinum did say, like, just open them now, I would not remember to open them. I'm telling you. But show the back, please. Can't tell if the numbered card. Oh, Crystal Spark card. Okay, yeah, see, that's how you know I'm an amateur here. I got to show the back. So this one says number 35. This one's number 12. But I think it would say of, right? If it's like a 1 of 1 type of thing, right? Yapstones. Interesting. I never heard of a Yapstone before this. But you know, imagine one of them's like a currency card, and then it like someone just grabs it and redeems it for themselves. All right. Here we go. Give me a Doge. No, I'm just kidding. Give me a Bitcoin. That's what I would prefer. But I tell you, I just have this funny feeling I'm going to get Doge if I do get anything. Oh, sure enough, look what I pull out. Dogecoin. Sir Doge a lot. That's not what it says, but so none of them are like limited yet, right? If correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it would say like of 100 if it was some kind of limited edition. Ooh, this one looks pretty dope. Blockchain. Blockchain is a database containing digital information that can be used, shared within a large decentralized public network. Blockchains are most often utilized in mining and trading of various cryptocurrencies. Pretty dope. Visual representation of the blockchain. Sorry, it's so hard to. Not focusing the best, but. Oh, okay. This one looks pretty good. 97 of 99. How about that? Okay, this is probably the best pull yet. Look at this, like the Holy Bible of Bitcoin type of thing. Codex of Leicester again. Okay, but this one, 97 of 99. This one's going to need to go in a sleeve. All right, look at that, guys. Look at that. Getting a good pull here, I think. Okay, yeah, so it's kind of like this one, right? Like they're kind of the same, but this has got like the green around the outside, and then 97 of 99. So it's limited edition. How about that? Then we got 2 more here. We got some kind of wine bottle. 1947 French Cheval Blanc. Must be worth a lot. According to that price tag right there, it's worth like 304 grand. That's pretty crazy. Here's the back. There we go. Finally getting them in focus. And what do we have here? I think this one, like the green foiled one, is definitely going to be the best. A barter. Just an exchange. A very interesting card. They're just chilling. Oh, look, I got eggs. I got bread. But damn, this one is actually fresh as fuck. And it has a little more weight to it. You can tell it's a good one. So I got to make sure I don't get my clammy hands all over it. Keep it in good condition. Look at that. 97 and 99. Pretty dope. Pretty dope. All right, how about it? Card Smiths have been opened. I didn't forget. To the chat again. Ooh, Crystal Sparkle card. Doge. How you called it? Exactly. I told you. Doge. I just knew it. But oh, hold on. I gotta get the stream back to the normal one. I'm trying to get better at multitasking. It's so hard. Like even I just hear something over there or there, and I get so like the other day there was a fly by the light, and it kept just throwing me off. It's crazy, but it's a number card. Let's go. How about it, right? How about it? 97 and 99. That's pretty good, right? That means there's only 99 in existence, so definitely got to keep that one in good shape. Like I said, I got to get my clammy hands off it, and I got to get it in a card sleeve. Do I have one over here? No. See, they also got some, like, miscellaneous football cards and stuff, but see, I'll take this Brock Purdy one out. I don't think this one's worth much, but So I'll take it out. Get this card smith in there instead. I know I have like all these card sleeves somewhere. I just can't find them. Otherwise, I'll just buy some from GameStop. So be it. Look at that. Boom. Nice and secure now. All right. Back to talking GameStop. Back on track here. But thank you guys for tuning into that. And to get back here, where I already went over this, basically how kind of protecting himself and posting position in a reverse card theory. And, you know, I'm not trying to bash anyone in any way, but I just want to talk about what's going on, right? And I saw this and I was kind of like, what? Kevin Malone posted how, according to the most recent GME 13F filings, all the top call option sellers combined do not have enough shares to satisfy Roaring Kitty's 12 million shares currently in the money. Pull screenshots, but Community Notes did a good job here, where it's these 13F filings reflect positions of GME as of March 31st. As tracked by Unusual Whales, Roaring Kitty made these option purchases last week. The option sellers' positions that are presented here do not reflect any shares purchased alongside the option sales. So, while I understand he's just trying to bring up a point here, it has no relevance because it's way before, like March 31st is way before that, like right now, and when he bought the call. So again, I'm not trying to say anything bad on Kevin Malone, but I just saw this and I'm just like, I just don't see it. It's like, love GME, but be very careful where you get your information from. Anyone watching the early Roaring Kitty streams with Roaring Kitty and I would know. And by the way, if you aren't aware, Domo Capital is like an OG who would be on like the Roaring Kitty streams like before anybody knew who he was. No, this information is meaningless without context. The source date on 13F filings is from the end of March. It's meaningless now, and Roaring Kitty's options were almost certainly purchased after March. We know for sure they were purchased after March, like per Unusual Whales. So, again, I'm not trying to knock Kevin in any way. I'm just trying to say it's easy right now with the time period we're in. There's a lot of people talking about it, a lot of different information floating around to get excited about things and go, oh my God, like this is crazy. Oh my God. But you have to like take things with a grain of salt and really just try and digest it and go, okay, like what is going on here? And yes, it's true that as of March 31st, all of these institutions combined didn't have enough shares. Call option sellers combined did not have enough shares to satisfy the 12 million. But that's as of March 31st. So much has changed from then to now. And that's where I also keep talking about how I don't think a lot of this right now, all this volume is retail. I think a lot of it is institutions. And part of it is market makers starting to hedge against the idea of these, or yeah, I guess for the idea of the calls being exercised. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words, but you guys get what I'm trying to say here. So, having said that, I saw this post. They never hedged. Market makers telling DFE those $20 calls largely didn't hedge. They hedged the first two blocks that DFE purchased, but then realized that their hedges would draw more attention to the stock and more buy pressure, so they decided that it would be in their best interest to not hedge at all. In fact, in my opinion, they even shorted against these call blocks purchases to completely dissuade any bullish sentiment going on. They doubled down on shorting DFE's position and are going to pay it once he exercises. Here's a list of all of DFE's $20 call buys with timestamps attached. So we saw, remember, there's like this mystery whale. He's buying every 15 minutes, and it started back on May 20th to May 29th. So that was May 20th, right? It started right here, right after the huge run up and huge fall down. So by the way, for anyone questioning, like, oh, he's tweeting all those memes, he's pumping the price. He didn't start buying calls till the price went all the way up and came all the way back down. Then that following week, he started buying calls, right? Once he stopped posting entirely. So the SEC should look at those facts. And he was buying call options all throughout here. And you would think with the price near 20 that market makers would start hedging against the possibility of them being in the money and start acquiring shares. But it doesn't really seem like that was taking place, because also keep in mind, during this week, excuse me. Oh my God, I need water. During that week, GameStop was offering up shares. Like right here is when the share offering was announced. And then right here, the share offering was complete. But he was accumulating shares, or sorry, not shares, call options during that entire period, right? And the final call options were accumulated at the start of the following week. And that's probably where, like, you would think market makers would theoretically start hedging against the possibility of the calls being in the money. So if you aren't aware, when the market maker is selling a call, generally they're selling them naked, right? Like they're allowed to do that. So they can just sell the call option to the buyer. And then if the price starts to go up and become in the money, what they typically do is they start going to the open market and buying the shares so that if the call option holder does exercise, then they're going to go ahead and deliver those shares on said expiration date or whenever the exercise takes place. So if he did theoretically exercise right now, you would think that the market maker would have been buying shares back here as it started rising a bunch above 20. But in this scenario, when you look at the price action, it's like maybe they never did because it was floating below, right? Or it was around 20, and the share offering is complete. And then it jumps up a little, and you think, okay, well, now you should start hedging, right? But we didn't see massive price action that would reflect that, but it's hard to know, right? Because again, we don't have the updated filings. But I'm just trying to say, when the share offering was going on, it wasn't known when the share offering was going to be completed. So I bet there was definitely some institutions or market makers that were thinking, again, potentially, the price is definitely going to be below $20 for a long time. So this person's not going to have a chance to exercise. We don't have to worry about hedging. But maybe they did. Maybe they thought, okay, we better start hedging. We know how this thing could go. We know how this thing moves. We know all the underlying swaps and craziness with the options going on with the stocks, and maybe we should start accumulating shares. So it's really hard to know until we get updated 13F filings, but we're not going to get those filings for months. So it's really anyone's guess, right? And like this person is speculating here. It says here are the associated charts corresponding to each time. We can see that Ron Kitty's first big blocks of $20 calls purchased on 520 significantly shot the price of GME up. Before the buys, the stock was trading at $20, and after the market makers hedged their calls, buying shares, thus adding pressure to the upside, the stock gapped to 23. Here's the chart for 521. You can see that DFE's 4 big block purchases ranging from 2:59 p.m. to 3:57 p.m. was connected to very odd price action during that same time. A run up to 310, followed by 3 red candles, 5-minute candles, cutting the price down lower to what it was when before the first buy. What happened here, you might ask? It seems like market makers recognized that DFE was the call buyer from E-Trade order flow. Possibly, right? Possibly. They decided not to hedge because hedging here would draw a lot of buys to the stock, and they didn't want that. They would suppress the stock price as much as possible in order to discourage traders from foaming into GME. 20K calls purchased within 1 hour, and it had no impact on the underlying. They didn't hedge. In fact, they probably even shorted the stock to suppress the price. See, when they break it down like this, like it seems like that certainly could be the case, right? Because look at the previous like block purchase, right? And moving on, for 522. 11:38 a.m. to 3:52 p.m. is maybe the strangest, most manipulative of them all. DFE bought 13 5K blocks of 20 calls for a total of 65,000 calls in that time period, and it had zero impact on the underlying. Cherry on top for the market makers, so institutions to even bang the close, making GME finish red that day. They didn't hedge. It lines up. It makes sense. Post offering. Some of you may be asking, original poster. If you weren't aware, OP's original poster. The reason for the underlying isn't moving at the time of his block purchases because GME was doing an offering then. Yeah, okay, but you should still see significant upside pressure in real time as soon as the calls are purchased. And yeah, sure, let's take a look at this chart. 5:28, 12:21 p.m. and 3:40 p.m. post offering. Do you see any significant candles at 12:21 or 3:40? I don't think so. They didn't hedge. Edit, added green circles to indicate where all the call blocks are purchased. That definitely helps. And again, this is just someone's theory here. I like to just share different ideas, but it's certainly an interesting breakdown, right? I don't think it's like a given because there's a lot of like algorithmic trading with market makers and institutions. So who's to say it didn't happen at a later date? But when you look at the chart as a whole, it doesn't seem like, and those specific smaller charts, right? It doesn't seem like they were necessarily hedged. And that's why maybe E-Trade stressed, right? That's the theory. And again, I've been here long enough to know that you have to take these things with the utmost grain of salt. And it's a good theory and it's a well put together thesis, but you have to take it with a grain of salt. You don't truly know, right? You don't truly know until an event has occurred or you can look back in hindsight. That's definitely what I've learned over these past several years. So it's definitely an interesting speculation. My opinion, of course, they hedged because GameStop was diluting and the price didn't drop. That's probably why. Yeah, Platinum. It's certainly possible. Exactly. It's so hard to know. It'd be great to have GameStop below cards. all the characters along the last 3 years. Coffee, that would be a nice touch, honestly. A few GameStop ones in there, I would like that. But in my opinion, of course, they hedged because GameStop was diluting the price and drop. The Office Kevin Malone is smarter than this other Kevin Malone. That's also so true. Yeah, listen, again, I'm not trying to knock him in any way, but some of the things I put out, I'm like, I don't know. Like, you should, in my opinion, if you're gonna put out something that's speculative, that's fine, but you should clearly put that out there and not just, oh my God, this is crazy, right? Like, you shouldn't have that approach. Okay, like, this is interesting, right? Like, how I'm presenting this right now, like, this is interesting, but I'm not like, this is definitely what's happening, right? Like, I just think, again, I've been around this stock long enough to know, like, it's not ever as simple as it seems. It's literally never, if you think it's simple, there's something you're missing in the picture. That's just the reality of it. And that's how these past several years have gone. There's been so many, oh, well, this, oh, because of that, oh my God, this crazy theory, right? And I bought into some of them or thought like very strongly, like, oh, like right here, this is going to happen because of XYZ. And then this is going to happen because of ABC, right? And this was around this time of the stock dividend. I really thought things were going to change at that time, and it was going to be a unique time for the stock. And I definitely wasn't the only one. And right here, started to feel validated, like, all right, here we go. And then get this huge drop down. And then I'm pretty sure right here was, if GameStop goes over $30, it's going to go parabolic. It jumps up and then comes way back down. And never goes over that price again, by the way, until now. Because remember, there was this news article saying something along the lines of, or no, S3 Partners comes out like Friday night. And this was a Monday. Comes out Friday night. Oh, if GameStop goes over $30, it's going to go parabolic. And this is a 1-day candle, right? So look at the candle. It opened at 31. It ran all the way up to 35. So people thought, oh, it's over $30. It's parabolic. FOMO, FOMO, FOMO. And what happens? It comes all the way back down and it closes the day all the way at 28. And it tests $30 again, right? It gets real close the next day. Nope. Goes down, shoots up a little, sideways, down, boom, 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 and never gets back to 30 again, right? After that, oh, if it goes over $3, it's parabolic. And you don't think there's people that FOMO'd in right here and then sold out at somewhere within this range here? And that's where I think there's like these psychological games going on. And again, just speculation, but to me, that was one of the weirdest of all, where it's like, if GameStop goes over $30, things will go parabolic. Shoots up way over 30, as soon as the market opens, starts running, comes way down, never retest the number, right? Interesting. But at the same time, looking here, it seems to be like, it is the first time over $30 since then. So maybe there's some truth to it. I would take that with a grain of salt, but just strange the things you see with the stock. That's all I'm saying. And I really should one day go back and just mark like all the crazy events that have happened, right? Like here's the sneeze, here's the ice cream cone tweet from Ryan Cohen. Well, I don't think that's specifically what moved the stock. Here's around the time of the hearing. Oh, sorry, this is around the time of the hearing of the ice cream cone tweet. This is when I think a single day where GameStop moved like from 350 at its high and then was as low as like 150 or something insane just for like one single day, I'm pretty sure. And then obviously it's split adjusted, but there's been so many like just crazy events and ups and downs in this journey. So I'm just very, very skeptical of any theory ever at this point, to be frank with you, because at this point, and yo, Dirty Bird, why are you so good to me, my friend? Welcome back. Thank you so much. You're literally way too good to me, my friend. Like, you are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. But again, you got to take it with a grain of salt, right? To go back to what I'm saying, you got to take it with a grain of salt because you just don't know. You just don't know until you have hindsight. Because when you have hindsight, your vision's 20/20, right? When it's without that, you're like me without my glasses. I'm like, what does that say, right? And usually, again, for those who don't know, I usually wear contacts. So it's not that I just suddenly got glasses, but yeah, I've been wearing them because my eyes have been bothering me. So it's just a crazy time to be alive, right? And that's just why I wanted to point that out. But Platinum, since you're here, I did actually want to. I had your tweet saved, planning to talk about it on tonight's stream. New York Stock Exchange canceling earnest trades from today, reviewing trades in about 40 securities. It's crazy. 40 different securities that happens, and the main one obviously is Berkshire, right? And we're gonna hit the chat real quick, and I'm gonna give you some more of my theory as to what's going on with Berkshire. Maybe a Tetron rookie card. Michael, I love that, man. That'd be sick. That'd be truly an honor. I could say that. Cardsmiths are expensive and meh art, in my opinion. Gypsy fish, that's all right. I can respect that opinion. I'm not. I like them. I think they're pretty unique. I respect the art. I think it's pretty cool, but I'm not buying a ton. Definitely, there's people buying way more than me. I could say that. So, pro members get 5% off, and you could use your 5% off, $5 off, and pick up a pack for only about 23. If you don't like the art, maybe not worth it for you. Exactly, exactly. It's not for everyone, and that's totally fine, right? And that's where GameStop's gotta keep building, into their product mix and just doing more and more over time. But Dirty Bird, so good to me, man. So good to me. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. But everyone's talking about MOAS. I think the bigger story is the long-time GME investor is that this thing, rather it squeezes substantially or not, it has a great shot to climb and build new support levels. Groove, yes, that's absolutely a great point. And then beyond that, they have the investment policy in place. They have a strong balance sheet. They have the opportunity to pivot. Like again, they still have to execute. I want to be clear. Like execution is necessary, but they can. They have to do the right things, but they can get to a greater level than where they were just a few years ago on the brink of bankruptcy, right? And moving on here, and let's go. Dirty Bird, so good to me. Hey, yeah, it is you. Yes, sir. Tetron's a PSA 10. Thank you, Dirty Bird. Thank you. But yes, this is Platinum. Those of you who don't know her, follow her on X at Platinum Sparkles. But New York Stock Exchange was canceling Aranus, I guess, yeah, Aranus. Always these tricky words, man. In New Scale Power, Barrick Gold, Chipotle Mexican Grill, and other stocks were impacted by technical glitch. Overall, I was reviewing trades in about 40 securities. Berkshire Hathaway and Barrick Gold at one point were shown to be down 99%, 99.97, and 98.45% respectively due to technical issues. Those before those trades were corrected. So supposedly, some trades did go through, but then look back and they're like, no, that's not how this is supposed to be. We better correct it, right? And I wrote a little thesis on this the other day. I was at work too, and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be working. I got to do this really quick, right? But more than 90% of Berkshire A's trading volume has been off exchange in post January 21, right? Or hold on, let me drink some water before I get into this here. So sweating. This headset always got me sweating. Sometimes, guys, I forget to breathe. I really forget to breathe, and that's where I start like jumbling my words. I genuinely think sometimes I have a hard time, and I'm not trying to like brag in any way here to be clear, that I have my brain moves so fast that I have a hard time putting my thoughts into words because my brain is just shooting so many different ideas. And I know I can't be the only one, and I'm not saying that like makes me some kind of genius or something like that. But sometimes I have to like slow down my brain so I can get the words from my brain to my mouth without it sounding like gibberish. But it's it's hard when you're streaming because you're also trying to think about like the next thing you're gonna say and what people are saying in the chat, and then where you're gonna take that point you're trying to make and then carry it into the next topic and transition, right? But namaste. But 90+% of Berkshire A trading volume has been off exchange since 2021. Prior to the GameStop sneeze, most of the volume was on exchange. And as you can see here, I wish I had a better screenshot, but this is from chartexchange.com, and I'm going to show you the current charts in a minute. But this was taken on May 10th, 2022. So approximately 2 years ago. And then what do you notice? The white is off exchange trades, and the blue is New York Stock Exchange. So most of it was on New York Stock Exchange, and then all the other colors is various other exchanges. And the yellow is the price, right? So that's where you kind of have a differentiating line. But that's because it's the price of Berkshire. So you can see post January 2021, it shoots up, and pretty much every day there's a ton of off exchange volume. You have one anomaly here, and sure enough, right? It's like a little bit into September. You look back at that time, and I really want to chart this out good. I got to do this at some point. Look at September 2021, right? No, I guess it doesn't quarterly align, and the daily candles would probably be better, but let's see real quick. I swear I thought it did when I looked back a while ago. And I can't see from that screenshot, right? Like, it's not a great screen grab, but maybe in this period here, there's something with it. I don't know, but let me keep going with my point here. But you can see that majority of volume for Berkshire A is off exchange post January 2021. Dark pools, right? And just privately negotiated sales off exchange. So the other colors are other exchanges. The data is from chartexchange.com. And then this is the current one, right? And you could see it's like close to 100% of all the volume is off exchange. Like at this point, it's in the high 90s. Back then, it was in like ranging between 80 and 90% of the total volume. Then it becomes literally like 90+% of the volume every single day. Actually, even like 95+% since the start of 2024. So 98+% as of late, right? And look, this is a screenshot and it had the most recent date as Monday, June 3rd. But the day wasn't done yet, right? Because this is another screenshot from 2022 and it shows you, it's a little more zoomed up. It shows you it's just after January 2021, just when February starts, you see this huge move up in off exchange volume and it never goes back. It never reverts back. And again, the yellow is the price, so you can kind of disregard that for the point I'm trying to make here. And then Badass Trader has an additional one, or additional piece of context here that I added. This is February 2021, and look at the volume for Berkshire A. It started going up and up and up. You've never seen that much volume prior, and if you zoom out further, and look, this goes all the way back to pretty much 2018. Why would it just suddenly have all that volume? And again, I'm not trying to suggest anything specific. I'm just saying it seems like in some shape or form, in my oh so humble opinion, that GameStop is attached to Berkshire in the form of a swap or whatever the case. And maybe that's what Ryan Cohen meant when he said, I challenge Warren Buffett to a thumb war. Is this a thumb war? Maybe. Right? And then beyond that, I looked and I'm like, so let me look at this again. What happened on Monday? So we see it here. Bear with me, guys, here. We see the switch, and most of the volume's off exchange. And then sure enough, looky what we have here. June 3rd, only 56% was off exchange when we had that glitch or strange anomaly or whatever you want to call it, right? Suddenly, out of nowhere, for the first time in years, the day that the glitch happens, most of the volume's on exchange. Isn't that odd? Isn't that odd? Again, I'm not trying to suggest anything specific, but I'm just saying this is the first time in years we saw that much of Berkshire A's trading volume, that little of Berkshire A's trading volume off exchange on the particular day of the glitch. And also just so happens to be a time when a lot of swaps were expiring for GameStop. So I'll let you think what you want of that information. Again, I'm not trying to suggest anything specific. And this is the total volume, right? The white is off exchange, and then the blue is New York Stock Exchange, and the other numbers, the other colors rather, are actually just other exchanges. So you zoom all the way in, and you can see it was significantly less volume. Or yeah, no, it's zooming the chart every which way. I didn't realize that's what it was going to do, but yeah, it is significantly not that significant, but definitely less volume than it's seen since the start of the year, right? It's a little drop off here, definitely an anomaly relative to 2024, but it's just crazy to me. That's just crazy. Like, how did that happen? Why did that happen? Like, we won't ever know. That's probably the unfortunate reality of it. We won't ever know anytime soon, but that just seems too correlated. And obviously nothing too dramatic happened with GameStop's price on Monday. Like, obviously it made a big move, but right? And again, this was Monday. Pre-market, and then right around somewhere around here is when the Berkshire glitch happened. And again, I'm not saying it's like perfectly correlated, but I just think there's something going on right there. You guys can let me know if you guys have any theories, but it just seems like something is going on right there. Let's see. Erroneous, right? Did I get it right? I'm terrible with the big words sometimes. Oh my god. Did you see Joe Saluzzi saying the NYSE, New York Stock Exchange explanation for the halts make no sense? No, I did not. I'll have to check into that. Let me write that down so make sure to do that. It's like I said, maybe we weren't here platinum before, but I had to study for this exam yesterday, so like I really haven't been able to keep up with everything. And Sucks. It was so annoying. So much going on. I swear every time GameStop starts going crazy and there's so much going on, suddenly I have the most random busy thing going on in my life, and I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. But see, that's comments on those. It feels like the senses are dialed to 11. Exactly. Remember the after hours crazy trades on this Berkshire A? Burry even tweeted on them deleted. Patrick, I didn't see that either. Look at that also. Berkshire A. But yeah, I also saw, when Berkshire resumed, right? To quickly pull up that chart as we keep going through here. Oh my goodness. And see, obviously it's very spotty because there's not a lot of volume relative to the average stock. But look at the candle. So like it doesn't show the huge drop, like they corrected that, but when it opened, it shot, and you can't even make this up. Simulation confirmed. It shot up to 741,000. 741. How is that number literally everywhere? It's actually crazy. But directly when it opened, like it made a huge move up, right? So it was like fixed, but then suddenly the price just hiked all the way to 741,000 and then came back to right around the price it was before that strange like drop 99% happened, right? And maybe it has something to do with the CAD system. There's some speculation about that, right? There's a lot of different things, but it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And I have to dig deeper into it, to be honest with you guys. But just looking at it as a whole, like it's just like, what the heck? It's crazy. Berkshire Chipotle uses collateral. Don? Potentially, in some shape or form. Definitely could be the case. Remember the after hours trades? Dirty Birds, I love GME. Me too. Hi, Tetron. Annie, what up, what up? Hope you're doing well. Off exchange trading should be legal if you want to place a trade via on exchange and the manipulation right there. Austin, thank you for being here. I get like there is like some purpose to an off exchange trade because you want it to be it's between like two counterparties, privately negotiated, doesn't move the market too much, but it just seems like it's been abused now over the past several years and probably longer than several years, maybe decades at this point, but it seemed like there's a good reason behind it initially, but it's just been dragged out. Not dragged out, but now is done in a way where a lot of suspicious things can get swept under the rug because you have the ability to do that, right? And you would think most trading volume should be on exchange, generally speaking. Too many coincidences, exactly. Okay, Jamie, what am I missing? What is it missing? A game. Dirty Bird? I'd love to see them launch a game. I think that'd be sick. But it would be interesting to check more of those hold stocks and see their on and off exchange of volumes. Platinum? That's a great point. Let's do that. Let's see. Let's see Chipotle. I know Chipotle was one of them, and then gold. Oh, wait, hold on. CHPT, right? That's what theirs is. Okay, perfect. Okay. Nothing too different. This is a Monday. Good amount of off exchange today, but it seems average for them. And then let's see gold, or it's better to just do this right here. Just change it in the URL itself. It takes me to this exact page. GOLD. Slight drop off from what it usually sees, but nothing too crazy. What are the other ones? Nuclear. Oh, I exit out before. Oh. Scale power. What is theirs? SMR. But as I'm, again, just thinking out loud here and looking through this, I feel like with Berkshire, it's a little bit different because, or with Berkshire A at least, it's such a like mega cap and there's such few shares traded because of its enormous share price size and like they never ever do a split that it's a little bit different. And also just another piece of information that's interesting if we go back to Berkshire here, right? Like you see this happen constantly with Berkshire A and then the anomaly right here. Berkshire B, we don't ever see anything dramatic, right? And also what's strange to me is how did that happen with Berkshire A, but Berkshire B didn't see anything funky happen to it on that day during that time? You would think, right? Like, aren't they supposed to kind of move together? Like it's just a smaller version of the same thing, right? Like this Monday, I mean, it did a little bit get negatively impacted, right? Like right around here, it was dropping. I think people are okay, what's going on? Is Warren Buffett bankrupt? And then it comes back online, and then the price moves up. But like, what was going on in here for Berkshire B that wasn't going on in Berkshire A? And I'm also curious if Buffett's gonna comment on it. Like, I don't think he would say anything significant that it's like, oh my God, what Buffett said, like, it's so obvious now, or something like that. Like, we're gonna all look back and be like, oh, it's so obvious now. But I'm just curious what he thinks happened, right? He's probably like, the heck's going on? But I don't know. I don't know. And just talking about it all out loud here. And again, I'm never trying to say, oh, it's this happening, it's that happening. I'm just simply trying to cover everything that's going on and let everyone formulate their own opinions on it because it's so illiquid. Yeah, exactly, Platinum. Exactly. Good question about Berkshire B. Yeah, no, I just thought about that right as I was starting the stream. I'm like, I'm gonna bring that up. It's like, why? Like, why? Why didn't Berkshire B stop? Like, now I'm really thinking about it. I'm really bamboozled. You would think they're pretty much the same, right? I mean, obviously they're a different ticker, but when you buy Berkshire B, you're buying it for the same reason you're buying Berkshire A. You're buying into the portfolio that is Berkshire Hathaway. And it's just funny, all the memes too. It's like maybe Berkshire A is going to have the Battle of 180 because it dropped like all the way to 185 during the glitch. And it would have been funny, like, if I had it in a brokerage account to see. I mean, it wouldn't be funny, but yeah, I don't know. I just, it's bamboozling. It really is just bamboozling. I don't have like a clear idea because it's just so taboo. Like, it's so unheard of. Like, we've never seen anything like this in the markets, right? Like, I can't remember a time ever where there was a glitch like that. And then wasn't it even like last week? Wasn't there like a strange thing going on where like the S&P index itself wasn't moving? And then also the Nasdaq, and I don't know. Now I feel like I'm putting on like a major tinfoil hat, but just so many strange things going on in the markets these past few weeks. Like, and just even Nvidia in itself and its move is strange. Like, it's just crazy. This thing is just in a forever bull market. Like, it just keeps going up. Like, look at this shit. Like, it's crazy. Look at its year-to-date chart. Just up. Just up. Crazy. And then this was earnings right here. Huge gap up. And I thought, okay, surely, like, it's done, right? Just keeps going. It just keeps going. And even in the after hours. Where is it right now? It's at like 1,235. It just keeps going. It's just, and then the split's about to happen. Some people are saying like when the split happens, the price is going to fall. Obviously, a split doesn't. Yes, obviously the price will be 1/10. So if it's at this exact price on the split date, it's a 10 for 1, right? If I'm not mistaken, does it say? Yes, 10 for 1. So it would be $122 if it split today, theoretically. And some are saying, though, you know, like after the Tesla split recently, or not that recent at this point, a couple years ago, they had a major drop off, and this is kind of just the final run up before that. And obviously, Nvidia, I think, is in a great spot in terms of their growth right now, but it's just kind of ludicrous to me that it's valued at the same as Apple right now. And you know, Apple getting ready to push a new all-time high again because these mega caps just never stop going to new all-time highs, right? And it is just bamboozling that the S&P 500 is so heavily weighted towards just what do they call it, the Magnificent Seven or whatever it is. It's a crazy world we live in. That's all I'm saying. All this stuff combined, and then yeah, people are just like GameStop stock, and it's like, ah, forget GameStop, forget GameStop, forget GameStop, right? But yeah, you have all this other stuff going on, and no one continues to talk about that, and the media doesn't continue to talk about that. That's actually like more interesting to me. Like, obviously I'm very interested in GameStop, but I'm saying like you would think to the average person that would be more interesting than, oh, Roaring Kitty this, Roaring Kitty that. He tweets an Uno reverse card. He tweets an image of a guy setting up. And my favorite is the media trying to cover like the whole GameStop situation. Yeah, he clearly indicates, it's game on because, every gamer knows, like I saw this old guy saying on CNBC, I forgot his name, he's always on there. Every gamer knows that when you sit up like this, the game gets serious. So clearly he was sending a message to his followers. It's just a crazy world we live in, right? And I didn't have any of this on my bingo card for 2024. I didn't know what I thought was going to happen necessarily, like in 2024, but I didn't think it'd be June and all this craziness would be going on. That's all I can say. I don't know. I'm just at a loss for words right now. It's just all craziness, to be honest with you. But Texas Stock Exchange is dirty, more corruption, Citadel and BlackRock running it. Coffee. Spot on right there. Yeah, I actually wanted to touch on that a little bit too. That's an interesting thing. Is it still on the page right here? The front page? No, I don't think so. But it's interesting. They're going to take on the New York Stock Exchange. Has anyone else tried to do that in any recent memory? Not that I know of. And how's that going to work? Like, are companies going to get listed on the Texas Stock Exchange instead of the New York Stock Exchange? It's interesting, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I want to talk about it a little, but I don't know like why. And but besides like what you said, the people backing it, it's like, yeah, if they're the ones in control. Is there some greater play there? I don't necessarily know that, but I think it's just about the big dogs having more and more control. And they invest in everything. It's crazy to think that BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, you look at any company, right? They're always like the top 3 shareholders. Like let's look at Nvidia right now. And this dude, the CEO, this man is doing so well. I keep talking about that picture of him signing like the woman's chest. It's like, it's crazy. It's like, what a world we live in. So there's Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street. They're always at the top. They're always at the top. Pick any stock. Lululemon, because it's trending. Sure, why not? Wow, they're finally out of the dumps. They were the worst performing stock in the S&P 500 before today's move. They might still be the worst performing stock in the S&P 500 right now. Look at where they are year to date. Down 39%. It won't be as bad. They'll open tomorrow. Let's say theoretically at 338, but still way down from where the year started. And look at their biggest holders. No, FMR, they're way up there. Vanguard, BlackRock, State Street. It's always the same names up there. It's crazy. But look at GameStop. It's the same. But the institutional ownership for GameStop, like when you zoom out, and again, this isn't updated right now. Let's be clear. This is not updated because shares have been issued, number one. And number two, clearly there's been a lot of institutional activity these past several weeks and probably month or two at this point. So there's a lot that's not updated with these numbers, just to be clear. But 29% institutions. Most of these other names you look at, large majority institutions. Like you think Nvidia has 29% institutions, 70%. Let's see Lulu. 95%. Or that's the float, but still outstanding. 91. Let's see Meta. Did Meta report earnings today? What's the news with them? It's hard to keep up with everything these past few days or past few weeks because anytime GameStop's popping off, like I try to read about everything going on in the market, but when there's a lot going on with GameStop, like that's just where my head's at. And I like talking about other things, and I'm trying to expand into talking about other things, but GameStop's like my bread and butter, the thing I follow the closest. So I'm like, I want to know every little thing. I don't want to miss anything going on with GameStop right now, but not sure why it's necessarily trending. I don't know if there's some kind of news, but look for them too. 79% institutions. TSM. Taiwan Semiconductors. Only 16%. Actually, not that much. Surprising. That's interesting. But I guess because not based out of the U.S. Then what's the other one I wanted to look at real quick? Had another. Oh, or just point I wanted to make. AMD. I'm surprised AMD's out like underperformed this year. Like year to date, it's only up 12%. Considering Nvidia's success, you would think it would run with it, right? And especially like the fact that Nvidia's at 225. I guess the market thinks generally that it's losing market share to Nvidia, but I don't know. It just seems like AMD should be higher considering 12% versus 147%. And what's Taiwan Semiconductors at? Let's look at other names in the industry. 56%, because generally when the big dog in the industry is doing well, kind of pulls the industry with it. Like another one I kind of follow, like Texas Instruments. They do some kind of semiconductors too. They've been doing pretty well. 15% year to date, although this is more of like a value kind of stock. It's kind of like a hybrid, like value growth stock. If you look at their numbers, like they have pretty strong balance sheet. A lot of the debt is long dated and generally lower interest rate. Strong current ratio, so they got a strong balance sheet. But, again, going back to before, largely held by institutions. And they've also raised their dividend pretty consistently over a while. So they're like an interesting one. They're kind of like a hybrid because they have a dividend, but they're also growing. Let's see their estimated growth. 7%, so not necessarily a growth stock. I feel like growth stock, you have to be looking at least double digits, but I'm just surprised AMD's underperforming. Yo, Dirty Bird, why are you so good to me, my friend? You're literally way too good to me. Thank you so much. Like, I can't thank you enough. Like, you're being so awesome lately. And, we got Marantz in the chat. We got Sir Moist. We got everyone popping in here. What's up? What's up? Let me get caught up here. October 26, 22. 3 Class A shares were traded at price of 661,504, representing a 223,614 gain from its Tuesday closing price of 437,890. Participating cat, thank you, Coffee. Is a good time to buy Berkshire, even if GME goes up. Treylac, thank you for being here. Honestly, I'm not so sure. I mean, that suspicious freeze or whatever you want to call it makes me speculate. Like, why? Number one, and number two, is that something with the company itself? But historically speaking, Berkshire has always performed very well. So I'd say if you have a very long-term basis and that's something you're interested in, sure, it's probably, decent. It's probably just as good as buying like the S&P right now, right? But that's where you want to analyze what's in it and of course make your own decision at the end of the day. But I don't know. I would perceive, I'm just very cautious about what happened or like questioning, right? Happened twice that week. Feel bad for Nvidia CEO. He sold at 450. Did he really, Austin? That's crazy. I know he still owns a ton though, so he's definitely still fine. But I feel bad for Kathy Wood. She's so straight. Like she seems so smart sometimes in the past, but lately I'm just like, she's kind of a bozo. Like she sold Palantir right when it was becoming profitable, and then it started going up a lot. Right? Correct if I'm wrong on that. And then with NVIDIA, I'm pretty sure she sold right as Nancy Pelosi bought. It's like, hello, that was the biggest bullish indicator. No, but jokes aside, sold right before the giant run-up. So, like, it's just kind of like, what? Sold it 560 and doubled it, but god dang, I also missed out. Sir Moist, that's the way she goes sometimes, right? I've definitely learned that lesson before, where it's like, and I was just saying before, I had a Luka Doncic card. Bought for 300, sold for 600. I'm like, I'm a genius. Should have never sold, right? Just shows you sometimes buying and holding is the way. But at the end of the day, hey, if you made a profit, I think you can't complain, right? And it all depends what you're trying to do, right? If you were trading it, I'm sure it was a great trade overall. And it's again, hindsight's always 2020. Hindsight's always 2020. Goal sell orders on Open Insider, freaking hilarious. Damn, crazy. But I bet they're even like, okay, this is crazy, right? This is crazy how much it's going up. New York Stock Exchange should be going to the SEC about all the trades directed off exchange unless they want to get a cut of the payment for order flow price. Hey, yours not my coffee, but call me crazy, but they're using tested CIA mind control tactics on the masses to shape up what a good person talks about and believes. Sir Moist, I'll be honest, I think that's a little crazy, but what I'll tell you that some people, that's not actually like how it is, right? But I think is not crazy is the algos, right? Like whether it's X or Instagram, sorry, I just blanked out the other social media. X, Instagram, Facebook. I heard someone say this like literally earlier today. I was listening to a podcast. Shout out Mark Manson. If you guys have ever heard of him, he wrote the book called The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Great guy, super genuine. Talks nothing about finance, just about like life skills and his experience. And he's so down to earth and just real as fuck. Like I really love his content personally. Just thought I'd throw that out there. But it was him who said it. He said, "We live in a world now," or maybe it was who he had on the guest he had on, and basically said we live in a world now where your social media algorithm, like your For You page, knows you better than you. Isn't that crazy? And I really think that's true because sometimes it's like you're scrolling and I'm wasting time scrolling, but everything you're seeing is like driving so many emotions in you, and it keeps you scrolling even like for 5 or 10 more minutes, and you know you meant to stop, right? And you're like, ah, how did I still get stuck on there like another 10 minutes? Because it kept showing me like exactly what I wanted to see, exactly what's on my mind. And it's just me, like sometimes you think about things and then it pops up in your feed, and I'm like, I didn't even Google it, I didn't even say it out loud. How about it's not even my phone listening to me, I just thought it, and how is it in my feed, right? Like, obviously I didn't think of Elon Musk right now, but maybe he heard, he's like, you know what, Tetron's got to see more of my content. Put him first in the For You, right? No, I'm just kidding, but it's crazy. It's just crazy the world we're in, right? But definitely, I think there is psychological tricks with the market, right? And some of the certain price action. I mean, that, that's a much deeper topic, but definitely with the way financial media works, there's definitely like psychological tricks going on. John Stewart needs to do an update on dark pools and naked shorting. Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious what he has to say. And listen, anyone else talking about it, I think that's always good. Just bringing attention to all this stuff, right? Look at this man, just balling out, just straight balling out. Overtakes Apple as the second largest company. It's crazy. I'm pretty sure Microsoft's the only company that's bigger than them, right? 3.15 trillion. Nvidia officially hits, I think, 3 trillion, right? Yeah, goes over 3 trillion at the close. Crazy. It's actually crazy that a stock of this market cap, excuse me, can move up 147%. It's just a crazy world we live in where it's not even, people don't even bat an eye now when you see a mega cap move like 20%. You see Meta go up 20% or down 20%, people don't even bat an eye. It's crazy. And this is a, excuse me, oh my goodness. What is it? Drink water. Gotta drink water. Gotta keep reminding myself. $1.25 trillion market cap. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Excuse me. Right? Look at this move here. From 317 to 240. That's a ginormous move for a market cap of its size. Like these gaps. Excuse me. Yo, what's going on? Am I getting sick or something? Oh my god. Keep choking my water, coughing today. What's going on? I'm choking on air. I don't know what's going on, guys, but these gaps are just insane for mega caps. Like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, if you told people Meta stock will be amongst the largest in the world and make 20% moves on earnings, people would have called you crazy. Like, yes, it's still by definition a growth stock. Like, if you look at their growth over the past 5 years and like 5 years ahead, right? Past 5 years, 30%, slowing down a bit. Next 5, or sorry, past 5 years, 11%. Next 5 years, 30%. So yes, by definition, it's still growth stock. But for its magnitude, like you would not think that it would make those sudden moves, and that's just it. It was crazy in the past when like Apple, right, would move like 5% as a mega cap, and now, and they obviously it's a little bit of a different story, but it's just crazy to me that the amount of liquidity in the markets and just how top heavy it is. Like that's just truly crazy to me. But let's go, rocks in the chat, yeah, buddy. Nvidia been dogging legacy compute in their media, yeah, for sure. And definitely, a lot of companies right now, AI. We're working with Nvidia. That's like a bragging right now. But in Micron, MU since the Wall Street bets over a decade ago, cost basis $20. WM, thanks for being here. I remember those days. I remember when they talked about on there. That's how long I've been reading Wall Street bets, like on and off, like not consistently, but I read Wall Street Bets way before it blew up, way before Roy and Kitty, and I was on and off it, right? Like some of my friends, we'd talk about it. And AMD, I remember back here, and this is when I first started getting invested in stocks, and AMD was up here at this point. It was at like $10, $15, and people were like, oh, it's done, it can't keep going up. And I thought, oh yeah, it'd be stupid to buy it now. Like it's gone up so much. I wish I was buying in $2, $3. I think really I started reading Wall Street Bets right here. Again, on and off, not consistently all these years, but definitely now I don't really look at it at all. Very, very seldomly will I take a look at it. Just like, what's going on in this little DGen sub, right? But in 2016, 2017, right here, I was like, oh, this is it, right? But imagine even I bought there. Look how much higher it's gone, right? Look how much higher it's gone since then. And it just goes to show, like, if something's succeeding and driving forward on a long-term basis, like even in the short term where it might seem like, oh, like the price is too high, if you're thinking at the big picture and you're just buying and holding, you're probably going to be all right if it's a good investment in the long run, right? But that's just the way she goes. What's up? That's plenty of good advice. Whole lot of truth, no financial advice. Plenty of good information, a little bit of motivation, whole lot of truth, no financial advice. Shout out Marant's Rants. Martin sucks, yeah. CFO sold at 400, but got gifted 85K shares this year, 100 million worth for nothing. Crazy, crazy. I was gonna say that's a very good piece of information there, Marant's, because I would like now that I'm thinking back, I'm like, probably if he sold, he probably was getting something, right? And that's just kind of how it goes. But yeah, this guy, if you guys haven't seen, go watch Marant's Rants' video where he's going at it with Martin Scarelli, Martin Clownarelli, whatever you want to call him, right? This bozo Martin, like, literally basically admitted he didn't even read the recent filings from GameStop. He didn't even know the preliminary results until Morantz brought it up. So it just shows you where that guy's head's at. And Morantz, honestly, in my opinion, absolutely schooled him. And listening to some of the other people he had in the spaces, like Martin, he would have the people in, right? And then he, oh, how old are you? Oh, I worked on Wall Street for 25 years. Oh, trust me, I know, buddy. I've committed crimes. I know. I've done it all. Right? And he'd have this whole like sarcastic tone and just very like know it all. And then Rance just stepped in there, basically matched his energy, not like know it all energy, but just went to his level, like, okay, you want to talk a big game? I could talk a big game too. And then he's all like, hey, buddy, we need to have an adult conversation here, right? He's such a hypocrite. That guy's an absolute bozo. And he replied on one of my tweets. I'll show you guys. And then I'll keep going here. Not to me directly, but to someone else who commented on it. Because he's clearly just engagement farming, right? And at the beginning of the one space, he basically said, like, oh, yeah, all right. You know how Citadel is, right? Like he's pretending like he's talking to someone and not knowing he's muted and saying like, "Oh yeah, like Citadel's paying me." Like just he's just feeding into like theories. Like he's just trolling. Like that's really what he is. He's just a troll. Yeah, this is it. Not even worth engaging with in regard to GameStop. He's just trolling and loves any attention he can get. Pathetic. Who? Exactly. Not to mention distracted one from questioning why Berkshire is down. Exactly. Nothing to see. Should be in jail. Isn't he banned from all the securities? Banned from ever working in his financial institution? Isn't he in Russia? Isn't he not even in the United States anymore? I don't know. I don't know much about him, but someone replied. No, I guess it's not here. I swear, someone replied and then he replied. Oh, isn't he banned from holding securities? Banned from ever working in a financial institution? LOL. He replied, so that means he saw this, right? He means he actually saw it, which I thought was pretty funny. I didn't expect him to actually see it, but just like when Foldable Human came at me, that clown Dan Olson, absolute bozo, another one of the self-proclaimed GameStop experts. I'm gonna make a documentary that's one-sided and doesn't interview anyone else and paints the picture exactly how I want to paint it, and I'm a ape expert. Absolute clown. And I went at him online, and then he this whole response, and his whole army of followers came at me. But good times, guys. Good times. Just like Tesla talking about working on profitability, then it's taking $50 billion pay package for Musk on vote retarded. Crazy. Rigged. Morantz never sleeps. I think that's true, Coffee. I think that's true. I tweeted the other day 69% of GameStop shareholders never sleep. I think Morantz definitely one of them. See Morant's video with Martin Scarelli? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big Farm Bro's a joke. Exactly. Nope, I didn't see it. My friends, how's the foot Tetron? Anthony, thanks for popping in. It's doing better, man. It's doing better. I've been still wearing this brace, or like yesterday I worked from home, so it was fine. I didn't have to wear it, but I wore it today, right? And it almost like bothering me more, but it's still not 100%. Like I can definitely walk on it. It's fine. I just want to be able to like do whatever and not think about it. Like I have a tendency to like jump back into things. So I'm like, okay, I'm trying to rest as much as I can, stay off my feet, right? And I like lately, I really before this was going for a lot of walks just to like mentally clear my head. Sometimes I'd be on Twitter all day, YouTube, and I'm like, all right, I should leave my phone, just go for a walk, a couple blocks near me, right? Just clear my head and not think about anything. And I haven't been able to do that. Like I could, right? But I know I'm like, okay, this is not going to get better if I don't rest. So that part's been frustrating, but it's doing better. I think I'm almost there. Doctor said it's gonna be like 2 to 3 weeks. It's about a week and a half in, so I'm alright though. And there's worse things in the world. It could have been way worse. Could have fractured. Could have been a major tear. So I'm just thankful. There's a minor sprain, so doing alright. Let's remember this must be algo or spam block, but I encourage everyone to watch this Connect the Dots series. Yes, Patrick. Yes, a lot of good information in there. And I think if you go to live chat on the top instead of top chat. That's where it switches it out, and I don't know how it filters it. Right? It's so strange how that works. Right? Like sometimes I've had like only like not live. What is it? Top chat on, and then it will randomly switch to live chat. I always try to have the live chat so we can catch everyone coming in, but Martin is the AMC of the stock market. Exactly, Coffee. Exactly. And another thing he was doing is he's like, oh, well, look at AMC. Oh yeah, AMC. And it's like AMC. How many times would I teach you this lesson, old man? To everyone out there, AMC. And if you're still confused, I'm just hitting you with the facts right now. AMC is not GME. They are not the same thing. They're just not. Adam Aaron pads his pockets. The balance sheet's a mess. The company's not doing anything to turn things around. They're not trying to trim any excess, close any unprofitable movie theaters. Not doing anything to remotely put themselves in a better position besides just dilute, 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 dilute. And GameStop is in a much better spot now than they were a few years ago. And you can see the numbers just slowly but steadily continue to turn around. They have a strong balance sheet and they have potential. AMC does not unless there's a drastic change. People say, oh, we're fighting the same fight. Like, I'll show you this one guy on my Twitter the other day. And I always try and pick and choose. I'm like, do I want to reply to this person? Do I want to? Because it's like, that's part of the game, right? I get that with Twitter. Like, part of it is like arguing with people. And it's like, it's fun in a way, but at the same time, I'm like, there's certain parts that's like, okay, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth replying, right? But sometimes you want to like go at it with people. And like I try and always be respectful, right? Some people aren't gonna be respectful and go with personal attacks, and that's fine. I always try and keep it respectful, right? But this guy, you can make the exact same post with the same headlines for AMC. Both companies have been shit on relentlessly for the past 3 years. I said, unfortunately, AMC has not fixed their balance sheet or gotten back to profitability. It also seems like management cares about padding their pockets too much. Shareholders have been brutally diluted. Provides, and then I was literally replying to this. Fortunately, there are likely billions of synthetic shares, which is the whole reason people are in these places to begin with. Because the reported data is only one sided story, it seems a bit disingenuous to assert otherwise. And I was going to reply and be like, okay, listen, I don't remember exactly what I was going to say, but just basically dismiss how this is nonsense. And even if there was synthetic shares for AMC, they've diluted so much that there's so many shares in the market, you don't really have to worry about that. And then before he can respond, this man blocks me, right? Am I still blocked? And who is this guy? I don't even know. Luke, man? That is what it is. Some people don't want to be informed. And you can't help everyone, right? You can't help everyone. And, for example, Morantz has said for a long time that AMC was a load of baloney. And he's been nothing but correct. And the simplest chart you could show everyone when you're like, oh, AMC and GME are the same thing, right? And Geronimo, when you said, when is the next Morantz Tetron stream? Got to make it happen. We've done a couple a while ago. I got to do a better job, to be honest. I've been really trying to do better, especially like engaging with the chat and Twitter. I got to do more collabs. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to make that happen sooner than later. So keep that in mind. I got you. But yeah, crazy time. What a crazy time right now. But I want to show you guys, you can always settle the AMC versus GME argument. You would think after all this time, AMC's up, right? No. Blue is, look, any time frame. 5-year chart. Pink is AMC. Blue is GameStop. Can you make it bigger? Can you make it thicker? No, I guess not. But blue is GameStop over a 5-year period. And these are percentages, right? Percentage of performance. Pink is AMC. Where's AMC? Put it back on. Doesn't even show up. Doesn't even show up because it's done so bad. No. I don't know why it doesn't want to show up. So, okay, on the 1-year chart, down 88%. GameStop's up 28%. Year to date, GameStop's up 80%. AMC's down 15%. 6 months, GameStop's up 85%. AMC's down 31%. 3 months, GameStop's up 107%. AMC's up 19%. GameStop's up 91%. AMC's up 56%. 48% versus 13%. GameStop always outperforms. It always outperforms, and it's because it's a better company. It's unfortunate. And people say, oh, what do you hate, the movie theaters? You don't like movies? I'm like, no, I like the movies. I don't want them to go bankrupt. The unfortunate reality is that the people running the company are just not running it well. That's just the facts of the matter. If they truly cared about turning around, maybe they would close them unprofitable movie theaters. They wouldn't invest in a gold mine. They would cut overhead spending. They would cut executive compensation. And they would cut out some excess executives and then get themselves to a point where they break even and then pay off as much as the high interest debt as they can, which, by the way, I don't know the exact date and the exact number, but I believe it's about mid 2025. They have about $2 billion of debt payments coming due. And already, right? What did they do? Right in here, you know what they did on this run up? They diluted shares. They diluted shares again. If I got $1 every time AMC diluted shares, I would have several more GameStop shares. That's not the best analogy, but basically, if I got money every time AMC diluted, I would be making a lot of money. Let me put it to you that way. And again, it's just unfortunate because it's not that I don't like the movies or I have like a personal vendetta against AMC. It's just frustrating for me as a GameStop shareholder where it's like they are not the same. They're just not. They're just not. That's just the reality of it. And the media, oh, meme stocks, meme stocks, meme stocks, meme stocks. And I'm telling you, I've said it before, say it again. If it wasn't for GameStop still being around to this day, still a relevant thing post January 2021, as so many people thought, after the first half of 2021, okay, this is going to lose relevance. We're never going to hear about it again. I bet people from the outside looking in are like, how is GameStop and meme stocks still being talked about to this very day? And again, my opinion, but the only reason there is this category of meme stocks is because GameStop is still a thing. So they have to forever force associate these names that are, and yes, I'm not saying it's entirely impossible. There's some form of like baskets with these stocks, but GameStop is not like the rest. And there wouldn't be these baskets, even if there is baskets, there wouldn't be baskets. There wouldn't be a category meme stocks if it wasn't for GameStop. And look at AMC's balance sheet. I'm not sure how up to date this is. When you look at Yahoo Finance, it gives you the overview of numbers, but when you want very specific numbers, it's always better to read the company's filings themselves. Whether it's GameStop or any stock, that's always the case. Negative profit margin, negative operating margin. $624 million in cash relative to $9 billion in debt. And then also current ratio under 1. That's total assets to total debt. 0.61. GameStop 2.11. And then if you want to go further with the comparison situation, okay. What else are we going to add in here? Costs. What other ones? What other ones from that time? Throw some in the chat if you guys remember the other ones. I just want to show you how GameStop's outperformed them. I would do BBBY, but they're bankrupt, unfortunately. Because I know that was definitely one that was always associated. 4-4 is best thing to follow if you're at a loss for what to do. Seems like these CEOs know when exactly to buy and when to trim. Very valid point, Austin. Definitely. Martin, ask who GME at $30. Then I ask who buys GME at $30. Then I was up by GME at $30. I'll take that challenge. Because he can, yeah, listen. This guy, like, he just loves any attention he can get. That's just the reality of it. But Martin sounds like he dropped the soap one too many times. Ryan, yes, and I'm pretty sure if I heard correctly, the interview, Rance low-key really got him. And I don't think he even caught it. Like, he was so fast with how he said it. He was like, yeah, Martin, I know you're very familiar with different soap brands. Or something like that. I'd be dying. I caught that, yo, let's go. 420 Box Smoke, what up? Dude, my friend, you're always the one that reminds me to drink water. I think you said it like only once or twice, but now whenever I see you in the chat, I'm like, all right, it's time to drink water. Hydration is key, guys, for real. I'm pretty sure, I don't remember the exact place I saw it, but there was some kind of study where people that live to 100 and the most commonality was that they all drank water. They were very hydrated. There's some kind of study, right? But in general, I think, can you really have too much water? And the human body needs water, so always stay hydrated. The only connection is the swaps, baskets, and funds like XRT, and that's why they tend to follow each other. Jason, thank you for being here. Fair insight, for sure. Wells bought GME at $30. I did 51. Number one. Let's go. Everyone's here. 51 shares. Bought at 40 LOL. I'm regarded. Jason, you're good, man. Those charts prove AMC's the hedge. Exactly, Marantz. I also really am curious when AMC does go bankrupt, as it seems pretty much inevitable unless something super dramatic changes. What will that mean for GameStop? And that's what I long thought in the beginning and used to say on this channel, that it's like, if you were the hedge fund, right, wouldn't you want to long AMC, short JME, and then, oh, they're the same, and then divide buying power? All just food for thought. Atom A equals Apollo. Exactly. Norwegian equals Apollo. HYMC, Apollo. Valley Resorts, Apollo. Yeah, and HYMC is the craziest one. Yeah, we could add that one on here, right? Look at how that's done over these past several years. Terrible. HYMC is right down there with AMC. Look, AMC is hiding from the chart. Doesn't even want to be shown. It's not coming up over here. But look, HYMC is right down there. It's crazy. It's terrible. What's that even at these days? I don't even know. And that just makes no sense. Why would a movie theater invest in a gold mine? You know when the price was highest? When AMC announced they were investing in it. And everyone's like, oh, this is so great. And look at that. It was never at $32. I know for a fact it wasn't at $30, which means they did a reverse split. Yep. Look right here. A 1 for 10 reverse split. And what did that do for the stock? Not much. Was this? Oh, no, it's 5 years. Let's go to 1 year. See? Reverse split. Yes, it's had a little bit of success lately, only because of AMC, I guess, but zoom out. Crazy. It's actually crazy. A gold mining company. So bizarre. So bizarre. I think that's one of the craziest things of this whole saga. Like, why would AMC invest in a gold mining company? It just makes no sense. Are they gonna mine gold to make the popcorn buckets out of gold, to make the movie theater screens out of gold? Like, it just, why? And then another thing with that is, anyone on the outside looking in that actually believes GameStop, AMC, oh, it's all the same thing. They're like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. A movie theater buying in, like, investing in a gold mine. That's what these people believe this investment is, and those are the people that think like, oh, it's all the same people investing in both, right? That aren't looking at the specifics. And I think by now, there's a little bit more of an understanding from the general public that there's a lot of GameStop shareholders that want nothing to do with AMC and some of these other names that are thrown out there. But there's definitely still, people just look from afar and say, oh yeah, like they're all these same names. And then that just made by force association, that stupid move by AMC, I feel like looked bad on GameStop. Anyone that's really paying attention knows that wasn't the case. But because of the forced association, I feel like people looking from afar saw that and were like, this is such a joke of a category. Meme stocks. And another reason why they need to be forced together. So when a company like AMC makes a poor decision, the general public sees it as, oh yeah, that's bad for GME too, when it has nothing to do with GameStop. Yep, someone owes me a kidney. I got you, Marantz. I got you, man. This person who has seen the analyst Anthony Chakumba. Oh yeah, that guy. Who could forget about him? Sell the stock, ask questions later. Could that be possibly the dumbest thing any analyst has ever said? Sell the stock, ask questions later. What? Like, just think about that statement. Sell the stock, ask questions later. But if someone said, myself or anyone, buy the stock, ask questions later, what an idiot! Oh my god, I can't believe you would say that. But when this guy says it, because he has the analyst title, oh, he knows what he's talking about. Give me a break. ApeShare's biggest fraud in retail ever. Yep, another great example, Patrick. Exactly. Because then also people like, wow, there's literally ApeShares now playing into, oh, it's not, obviously it's not there anymore, but I thought maybe the chart would pop up. And that's really what did AMC in. Everyone, and remember Trey Trades, when he was still around, he was like, Ape is the problem. Ape is the solution, not the problem. Don't complicate it. You want to talk about manipulating markets? This guy was so bullish, talking so positively about AMC for so long. And look, he's like a military veteran, and he doesn't seem like a bad dude. And I think he realized like stocks are not for me. So, in a way, like I respect he stepped away, and I'm not trying to like personally bash him, but if you're gonna point your finger at Warren Kitty and say market manipulation, how about him? Like what he was doing. You say, oh, buy. Having Adam Aaron on. Oh, another great point in the saga. Having Adam Aaron on with no pants on, by the way. Didn't he literally get caught having just like underwear? Like, it's crazy. They call him the silverback. I call him the silverback. See, oh, BB. Yes, that's another one. Thank you. Blackberry. I knew there was another one. Look at all these guys. Look at them. 2-year, 5-year. See, why do they keep not? Maybe it's gotta refresh, but EMC balance sheet, you can call it that. You can call it that. Shit. Exactly. Yes. Endgame. Thank you for being here. American Airlines, BlackBerry. Yeah, American Airlines was another meme stock. That's another good one. Thank you very much, Marantz. Crazy. All these have outperformed, underperformed. Sorry. Crazy. The next GameStop. The next GameStop. Forget GameStop. And on the forget GameStop topic, look at these headlines. This one's my personal favorite. Forget GameStop. Here's how to make hay with U.S. farmland. What kind of fucking headline is that? I'm sorry, I'm cursing more and more lately. I try not to curse on here and just keep PG-13, but what kind of headline is that? Like, it's so crazy. Will you ever pull an AMC Bigums and hit a bong live? Ryan, can't say I'll do that, my friend. I did. I like the green. We'll put it that way. Stocks, green and stocks, right? Green and stocks. But I would never. I'm never gonna come on here like obliterated, like and just right. Like there's no reason to do that. But very high or very high traded. Hey, dirty bird. Your words, not mine. But yeah, at in game negative shareholder equity. Exactly. So Branzillo, that was a slippery one. But buy Kava now. Ask questions later. Yo, what up, Wonder? Yo, remember I was saying the other day, guys? Kava, the Mega Kava Bowl. He's in the chat right now. At Wonder, Mega Kava Bowl. Yo, it's all good though. We're boys, so I can make fun of him, so it's all right. He knows GameStop's going to the moon. He'll keep denying it. That's all right. But Kava, I don't know, man. Yo, you want to do a comparison? You want to do a this guy loves. So let's get Kava on the board. Let's see the Mega Kava Bowl in the chat. But real man, thanks for popping in. I appreciate you popping in and say what's up. Look at that, yo. Look at that. We gotta go to the short term. Ooh, Kava underperforming, right? Hey, I mean it's where is it? Ooh, underperforming 5 days, 1 month. Ooh, underperforming 3 months. Ooh, underperforming. Berkshire A down last time. Another stock ticker that fell too is Soros Fund Management LLC. Estimated its shares in Barrick Barack, what is this? Barack Gold Corporation. Barrick Gold Corporation in the fourth quarter of 2016. Interesting. You doubted the Oilers, bro. They're gonna win the whole thing. Ryan, I know, man. I know. And I literally have a McDavid jersey. It's an old one. It doesn't even have the C, but I'm going to wear it this weekend. And I got to be honest, like, I want them to win, but again, I'm still not so sure. I'm still not so sure. But I'm sure as a Canadian, like, it must be very exciting for you. And, like, I bet everyone's going nuts up there. So I definitely want Oilers to win, but I don't know. The Panthers look so good. I know more than anything else. Anyone that knows me knows I am so happy that the Rangers lost. Like I hate the Rangers. I'm a Devils fan, so that's why. See, as you can see here, I can't stand the Rangers, and they're Devils rivals, so I just want them to lose. It's that simple. And especially what Matt Rempe did to them this year. Right? I'm not gonna get too much into hockey, but yeah, I want the Rangers to lose more than anything. So as soon as they lost, I was happy. I'm like, I don't care who wins, but it's gonna be exciting no matter who wins this year. Either Oilers first time since what is it, '93, or Panthers first time ever. So I think that's gonna be very exciting. But I'm sure as if not everyone here is aware, since we're on the topic of hockey, Dougie Large or whatever his name is that owns like Virtue. I know a lot of people don't tend to like him. He's like CEO of a market maker. He's been going out a lot with like the PP Squad and all them or whatever. Like, but he actually owns the Florida Panthers, so I bet there's people rooting against the Panthers for that reason. Like, or if you're neutral, like, and you don't like him, you can root against the Panthers, right? But for me, I just strictly look at the game. I love hockey. I don't look at it like that. I want the Devils to win more than anything else, but I think the Panthers are the favorite. But I really do think that Oilers can pull it off. Like, if Skinner stands on his head, he just plays amazing. It's certainly possible, but I don't know. Panthers have such a good lineup up and down. Even their like 3 guys. They could have 5 lines of forwards. Their 3 guys sitting out are all good too. It's crazy, but Bear Gold has the same path as Berkshire. All right, another stock that fell too. Soros Fund. So let me see. When you say same path, do you mean like same path in the sense of what exactly? Like I know it did the same thing, like it made the same dip. Oh, no, not physical gold. I know it had like the same funky thing go on. See, they corrected that one quicker. Let's see. That's what's weird to me too. The Berkshire one took the longest to correct. And for anyone that wasn't here before, for the first time in years, on the day of the glitch, majority of volume was no longer off exchange. Every other day, off exchange volume was like 98% as of late. Like this is the white is off exchange volume, the blue is New York Stock Exchange. Crazy. And then you go back here. Forget GameStop. This is what it used to look like prior to the sneeze. So again, just food for thought. But Barrett Gold had the same path. I was Dirty Bird dropped 100 for the channel. Dude, Dirty Bird is such a real one. Dirty Bird, I literally want the Falcons now to play the Steelers in the Super Bowl. Just because of you, my friend. Just because of you. Thank you so much, really. You've been so kind to me. Like, I'm genuinely so appreciative of like you don't have to do that. Like I want you to know, like you don't have to do that, man. But I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for real. And all of you guys, I appreciate all of you guys. And this, how you know it's a good stream because I can't believe it's already like 9:50, 9:45, whatever. Somehow my computer time keeps getting messed up. It's like a few minutes off. So it's really like it's 9:46. It's crazy. It's actually crazy how fast time goes. Like time flies when you're having fun, right? And I'm so hard on myself sometimes, guys. Like since we're in the late part of the stream, I'll be honest. Like I'm in the earlier part of the stream, and I'm like, I'm tripping on every word. Oh my god! And it's like even after I finished it, my brother's like, yo, why do you apologize so much? You're like, you're doing fine. And I'm like, all right, like that was good to hear. So I'm always trying, like I'm trying to be hard on myself because I always want to be better. But like I feel like in general for life, right? I'm not trying to get all philosopher, but you got to find the balance where it's like you want to keep pushing yourself to be better, but you don't want to like push yourself over the edge where you like drive yourself like crazy. You know what I mean? And it's hard because when you're streaming, you're trying to talk, make your point, transition to the next point, also hit the chat, think about all the different things you want to talk about, keep it moving, keep people, engaged. So I just appreciate you guys being on this journey. I'm just going to keep trying to get better and better. And that's all I can do. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys so much. I already cover if DAV was only supposed to post 2 YOLO updates. Yeah, Ryan, a little bit, but I'll touch on it again. And I was saying how basically right here, he said final update, and we thought that was it, right? And then here he posts again, and then here he posts again, 2 days in a row. And then here is where he posts the Uno reverse card. And someone had put it like user/whelp. You might have seen the post. Like a lot of people were commenting on it. I might have had it back here. Probably clicked around too much of this. But yeah. So pretty much, maybe we're looking at it all wrong. DFE could have been getting threatening emails from eTrader for the past several weeks, kept buying more and more call options. So that's why he posts his options, because they're saying, like, we're going to liquidate you. Then it's like, he's like, oh, okay. Like, this would make a lot of sense, considering his last post on Reddit in 2021 before Sunday night was labeled as final update and the Uno reverse card tweet. He tweets the Uno reverse card, right? Do we still have that up? He tweets this out of nowhere, right? 8:02 p.m. just seems like a random time, right on Sunday night when he posts the newest update on Superstonk, right? By the way, first time on Superstonk, because obviously on Wall Street Bets, like, yeah, no GameStop. But when it's trending, like, oh yes, we're gonna tweet about it. We love GameStop. Oh my god, right? Nonsense. But with that being said, I think they were saying like you gotta be careful or send him some kind of threatening email or give him some kind of notice, or he got wind of it, whatever the case, right? Or maybe his lawyers like post your position, because if they do try and liquidate it, now they're going to look like idiots, because that would actually be moving the markets dramatically if they decide to liquidate the positions. And then you might think, well, why would he post it again one more time? I think because a lot of people were saying, oh, he posted it Sunday night, and now look, it's Monday, and the stock is up so much. right? Oh, the stock is up so much. He made so much money. Even though the stock fell off in the morning, if he sold his calls at any point during the day, he made a ton. He had 120,000 options. Insane. He's like, nope. After hours Monday, I have diamond balls. I'm going to post and show that I didn't sell a single thing. And then Tuesday, that's when really all the reports started coming out. Massachusetts regulators looking into him. SEC regulators looking into him. E-Trade's considering kicking him off the platform. It's craziness. It really is craziness, right? And then I said it before. This one guy I was watching yesterday, name is slipping my mind now. This YouTuber, and he like, 'cause I was trying to just watch. Everyone's talking about it, right? So I'm always curious to hear other people's like outside opinions that aren't necessarily following it very much. He's like, Ron Kitty did it wrong. It's okay. Where he went wrong is first you have to become a politician, then you can do this, and it's okay. And then no one worries about it, right? Like that. He was kind of just making like a joke on that. And it's kind of true, right? It's kind of true. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. And there's so much farther to go in this journey, right? We'll see. The chart is looking certainly very spicy on the daily because these are daily candlesticks. We had that huge run up, the huge fall, big pop Monday, drop down Tuesday, pretty much flat. And today we make a nice move. And today, no news, no roaring kitty tweets, no nothing. And then the media's like, oh, it's just the meme rally. Those silly old meme traders back at again, right? And I just don't think that's what's happening here. Just simply don't. And if you look at the weekly chart, already, right, we have just 3 trading days into the week, more volume than either of the past 2 weeks. Although, to be fair, last week did have Memorial Day, so maybe this number would have been more like the previous week. But it looks like we're going to get close to the week of May 13th in terms of volume because we got 2 trading days ahead. Maybe we won't get all the way there, but maybe we'll get close to it. And when you zoom out, you see this is the most volume we've had since 2021. And isn't this chart looking eerily similar? I mean, obviously in this zoomed out version, let's do the daily. Drink water. I always got to cover it because I don't want to spill it on my card smiths here and everything like that. That would suck. But while it's not exactly the same, isn't this eerily similar? Right, move it out of the way because my face is probably in the bottom right. Eerily similar to a certain time period back here, right? Not exactly the same, but generally pretty similar, right? And if you look deeper into it, you looked at the dailies at that time, right? Can we? I don't know if you go that far back. Like these are daily candles. Or these are, sorry, those were daily candles. I meant like hourlies. Would it look a little more similar? I don't think I could go back that far. Yeah, damn it. Almost. Oh no, this is only January 2023. But if you zoomed in on a little bit more, right, where it wasn't daily candles, I feel like it would look even more so similar. But crazy, just crazy. And I definitely want to try and plot like, it's hard to tell, but someone pointed out a good point in the last stream where it's like you can use the Wayback Machine and then look what the off exchange data was for Berkshire at that time because it only gives you, right, back until May, or should I keep saying May, December 2022 till now of the off exchange volume. But like for instance, right here, 316. Let me write this down. Berkshire to off exchange to GME moves. Because I'm just curious, right? And it's just fun to look at data points and see if there's any kind of correlation. So 316 was the first 2023. The first time we saw a major drop off in the off exchange volume in a very long period of time. And then obviously during the day of the glitch, is it correlated with GameStop? Maybe. I'm not trying to suggest it like I am suggesting it could be, but I want to clarify that it's not like, oh, this is definite, absolutely what's going on right here. But I personally believe there's some tie between Berkshire and GameStop. Berkshire A specifically, because when you look at Berkshire B, you don't see any of this, right? And I bet if I use the Wayback Machine, the only thing is I've never used the Wayback Machine, so I have to figure out how exactly that works. But I'm sure it can't be too complicated to figure out just to see like what the numbers look back then. But let's see just here for sake of example live. March 16th, 2023. interesting. Right before, right here, right at like a double bottom at that time, right before a huge jump in earnings. So not exactly on the date, right? But oh wait, totally just lost my spot here. Yeah, March 16th. Or see March 14th to 16th. Even a little about the 17th. And then the earnings were the 22nd. Yeah, the jump was from 21st, 22nd. So right before that. Interesting. Not the exact date, whereas here was the exact date, but also this was just some kind of anomaly, right? That we don't know the specifics of at this time. And I want to look at the New York Stock Exchange. Like, they did put out something of their specific explanation. But I know Platt was here before saying, like, it didn't make perfect sense. So I want to look at that too. A lot more to look at, guys. A lot more to look at. A lot more to keep reading about and uncovering. The crazy saga that is GameStop continues. It continues. And by the way, I said it before, say it again. If you haven't followed me on X at Tetron Invest, be sure to pop on there. If you ever look at the highlights, if you ever want to, if you're curious, it's kind of like my long form posts that I've done over time since I've talked about GameStop. That's where the highlights are. Then in general, you follow me. I'm going to post some memes. I'm going to post when I'm streaming. I'm going to post just information about the latest with GameStop. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up here for real this time. I'm not going to say I'm going to wrap it up a million times and then never actually wrap it up, but hit the chat one more time. Did you already cover? I would say I think any one of his updates is a 13D 5% ownership filing. Patrick, if he does exercise, right, he would gain he would have a total of 17 million shares. And 17 of 351, he would be at 4.8% if assuming GameStop has approximately 351 million shares outstanding, because prior to the share offering, they had about 301. Or is it? Yeah, hold on. I have it in my notes here. Let's use my notes to my advantage. Post share offering. 351 million shares outstanding. So yeah, that would add up. That it would be just under 4.8%. So technically, unless the company buys back stock or something strange changes with the numbers when we get the actual like Q1 report, he wouldn't be required to file like a 13D because it would be slightly under 5%. 621 feels like a distraction for whatever's truly planned ahead for the company. Ryan, I think that's certainly a good point because everyone's so focused on that date now with it being the expiry date. But part of me thinks if he exercises, it could be but prior to that, right? Because remember, with options, you do have the ability to exercise at any point of your choosing. You don't have to necessarily wait till the expiry date to choose to exercise. Patrick, what up? What up? I love the emojis. Those always make me laugh. Like the YouTube emotes. Like here, I'm gonna throw one in right now. Like these are so funny. Like, and again, for real, about to wrap it up. Like, woo. Like they're just so funny. Like look at those. They're so goofy. Like, what are your thoughts on the glitch day? Someone being liquidated? Mark, I was actually just briefly touching on that. If you want to scroll back a little, because I'm about to wrap it up here, but look at the off exchange data. It's very, very strange right here. I think it's something to do with the swaps. That's my gut feeling, but I don't truly know, right? I'm just here to suggest ideas. I'm not here to say, oh, this is definitely what's happening. This is specifically what it is. I'm just all giving food for thought. But it just seems like it might have to do with something with swaps in some shape or form, some connection to GameStop, some kind of hedge, some kind of complex derivative position, some kind of basket swap, something like that, right? It just seems so odd. And this is the first time we've seen, right, since pre-February 2021. So like right after the sneeze, off exchange volume for Berkshire Hathaway, majority of the volume has been off exchange. But this is the first time we've seen that change since that time, and it was very dramatically just for one day, and it just so happens to be glitch day. And also, add a piece of context, shout out Badass Trader down here. Look at the volume for Berkshire ever since February 2021. For a stock of its size, it shouldn't just dramatically have that much more volume over this period of time. Why does it have that volume? The puzzle remains to be solved, but I'm keeping an eye on it, and I was appreciative having everyone in the chat and the opinions. But they don't think like gamers. Money are just points in a video game. Jamie, you're like my health pack. Yes, I want all my point in that. Yeah, exactly. Because I can. Hey, like your username says, because you can. You can just stack your health points. Keep buying. Keith has every series license. He was part of Lex Shares, I guess, which handled trade litigations. He knows what he's doing. Patrick, you're absolutely right. He worked for a relatively smaller firm. I forgot the exact name. Small firm in Massachusetts prior to the whole situation, and while he was doing his channel originally, and then actually because of what happened in January 2021 and all the regulatory scrutiny around him, and they brought him on Capitol Hill, like pretty sure they let him go because of that. But clearly at that point, he was chilling, right? And he's been doing something these past 3 years, some form of trading. We don't know for sure exactly. We may never know, or at least not anytime in the near future, but he's definitely doing something these past several years. So, yeah, 19% today, guys. It doesn't, it's funny, like 19% used to get me excited. Now I'm just like, yeah, yeah, I know it could go down 19 more percent tomorrow. It could go up. It could go up 19 more percent. It could go either way, so just be ready for everything and everything. Always have a plan. Know thyself. Stick to your personal goals and beliefs and theses. And again, just know yourself, because the only person that knows you the best is you, with maybe the only exception being your social media algorithm, because I feel like the For You page on Twitter or Instagram, all of them just suck you in now. It's crazy. They endlessly suck you in, right? But yeah, my guess is Berkshire is using their golden parachute and getting out because they can, possibly. I don't think they're necessarily like directly short, but I feel like they're involved in some way or another, because also Buffett has said, like, I have no problem ever loaning out my stock because that just means more money for me. So maybe he's loaning out his shares, but you would think it'd just be for like a short sell, right? But who would short Berkshire Hathaway? So it's a loan out for some kind of complex derivative position, custom basket swap, something of that nature. And it just seems too coincidental that the day this happens, the Berkshire glitch is the day when a lot of swaps were set to expire for GameStop. So again, all just food for thought. I'm not telling you, oh, this is definitely what's happening. I'm an expert. None of that. No financial advice. I'm just documenting, just sharing all the information I'm seeing out there, and just trying to cover the GameStop story as accurately as possible, because the reality is the mainstream media is failing to do so. And I'm excited to update these charts. We get earnings next week. Next Tuesday, the 11th. Usually I stream Monday and Wednesday. I think next week I'm going to try and stream Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, because you know what? Or you know what? Mm, I do have to do something one of those days. At least, definitely Tuesday, right? Like I'm maybe all three. Stay tuned. Follow me on X at Tetron Invest, because I'm definitely going to stream Tuesday, but I might sacrifice Monday and just do Tuesday, Wednesday, or maybe even Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday if things are exciting enough. Or maybe even double stream on Tuesday, a Tuesday morning stream and a Tuesday earnings stream, because usually previously, anyone that hasn't been here a long time, those of you who have been hanging out with me for a while know I usually actually have been taking off of work, like, or I take a half day or a full day off of work for the earnings to cover them for GameStop. But this time, since they're preliminary earnings, and I'm actually taking off 2 weeks in about a month or so from now for my big trip to Europe, going to Croatia, very exciting times. So with that, I didn't want to take this one off, because also, especially the preliminary earnings coming out, got to save some PTO, because you never know when there might be another crazy time where I gotta cover things live. But again, thank you guys so much for being here. Challenge Warren Buffett to a thumb war. Exactly. Maybe that has a meaning we didn't realize at the time. But yeah, again, for real, wrapping up. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you very, very much. I hope everyone has a fantastic evening and a great night and a great rest of the week. Take care.